हाँ, मेरे को जितना मैं कर पाई हूँ मैंने कर लिया अभी। आई थिंक इट्स गॉट एग्जॉस्टेड। मैं थोड़ी देर के बाद फिर से मैं पिंग करती हूँ लोगों को।
श्योर।
तो आंदोलन जी, आपको कैसे आइडिया आया इस टॉपिक पे चर्चा करने के लिए? लाइक व्हाट मेड यू थिंक अबाउट इट? बिकॉज जनरली आई आई सी यू थिंक अबाउट, आप टॉपिक भी वैसे लेते हो विच इज आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स।
हाँ, नहीं, पर आप देखिए डिटेल डिस्कशन में हम लोगों ने कई बार इस तरीके के टॉपिक लिए हैं जो क्या कहते हैं महिलाओं से रिलेटेड है खासकर। जैसे कि हम लोगों ने अभी कुछ दिनों पहले कई इस तरीके के विषय पर हम लोगों ने डिटेल डिस्कशन में चर्चा करी, इस्लाम और मुस्लिम समाज से रिलेटेड। पांचाली जी ऊपर आ जाइए प्लीज। मुकुल जी ऊपर आ जाइए, क्योंकि मैं
नमस्ते
मॉड
आन-
आपको भी दे देता हूँ। नमस्कार जी।
नमस्ते पंचाली
नमस्ते
जी।
नमस्ते। कैसे हो आप?
बढ़िया।
बिल्कुल पर
बहुत बढ़िया टॉपिक है सर। बट आई एम श्योर कि मतलब हमारे पास मतलब कुछ लोग यहाँ पर होमवर्क करके आए हैं या फिर मतलब वी आर जस्ट गोइंग टू डिस्कस।
इसको मैं स्ट्रक्चर कर दूंगा थोड़ा सा, किस तरीके से हम लोग चलेंगे। और ज्यादातर हम लोगों ने कोशिश ये करी, आज को मॉड्स जो भी है वो महिलाएं रहेगी और हम
जी
लोग
जी जी,
इस विषय
बहुत
पर
बहुत
चर्चा
उत्तम है।
करेंगे। तो हमने जितनी भी प्रोमिनेंट महिलाएं हैं हम लोगों के यहाँ, सबको मैंने इनवाइट करा है और कई लोगों ने कंफर्म भी करा है। 5-10 मिनट में सब आते जाएंगे।
इंटरेस्टिंग सर, ग्रेट इनिशिएटिव, बहुत मजा आएगा।
तो हमारा विचार ये था कि एक महिला का जो जीवन होता है जन्म से लेकर मृत्यु तक, और फिर उसके बाद इसमें कई पड़ाव आते हैं। जन्म है, यू नो, जन्म के बाद आपका एजुकेशन रिलेटेड हो गया, ग्रूमिंग हो गई। उसके बाद आप बड़े होते हैं, कामकाज करते हैं, विवाह होता है, बाल बच्चे होते हैं, तो वृद्धावस्था आती है। वृद्धावस्था के बाद आपका देहांत हो जाता है। देहांत होने के बाद भी, चूंकि ये टॉपिक थियोलॉजी से है, तो कई लोग यू नो वो LIC का एक वो कथन होता है ना, लाइफ के साथ भी लाइफ के बाद भी। तो लाइफ के बाद भी जो आपका वेरियस थियोलॉजी में वुमेन का जो स्थान और ट्रीटमेंट है, उसमें तो ये सारे विषयों पे जन्म से लेकर मृत्यु और मृत्यु के बाद तक सब पे चर्चा करेंगे कि किस तरह से इस्लाम है और किस तरह से बाकी ऑप्शंस है, जिससे कि महिलाएं ये डिसाइड कर पाए कि लाइफ के वेरियस चरणों में कौन सा आइडियोलॉजी बेहतर है। मीनाक्षी जी को नमस्कार।
नमस्कार आंदोलन जी।
नमस्ते आंदोलन जी।
एवरीवन हेलो गाइस, कैसे हो?
यस, पर शाहजी जी हैं शायद, एक
नमस्ते,
सेकंड,
जय
एक्चुअली
श्री राम।
पिंग कर रहा हूँ। सकलेन सैयद, इज इट शाहजी और या शाहजी?
शाह जी।
GG, how are you, Andolanji? Are you all well and fine? And everyone
अमेजिंग शाहजी
else?
जी।
वी आर
Good.
ऑलवेज अमेजिंग।
No, no one is always amazing
No, no, we
because
are
we're
always
all human
amazing
beings.
because you know what?
Okay.
That's how we are.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Good for you, Sessa.
शादी
बीइंग
काइंडली
अमेजिंग
शेयर
इज अ
करो।
स्टेट ऑफ माइंड।
तो
So,
शाहजी जी, अगर आप मेड्यूसा वुल्फ गैंग वगैरह को बुलाना चाहें तो बुला सकते हैं, बहुत अच्छा
of
टॉपिक
course,
है।
वो आ जाएंगे
जनरली
अगर
अच्छा है।
उन्हें आना होगा. Wolfgang is here. तो अंदोलन जी, आपने अपनी टीम रेडी कर ली? मतलब you have to announce it by tomorrow. We remember that.
हाँ हाँ, मतलब उस पे हम लोग चर्चा करेंगे। तो टीम तो हमारी देखिए आज भी पूरी रेडी है।
Good, good, good.
आज the way we are looking at today's discussion is, majority of the discussion would be heard by done by ladies only.
So, Andolanji, coming to this discussion, what percentage do you have of Muslim women or females leaving Islam? Is
Sorry?
there a study you've come across? Are there certain kind of statistics? Are there any figures?
हाँ, सभी सभी चीजों की चर्चा होगी, सभी विषयों पर चर्चा होगी, लोग अपनी बात रखेंगे।
So I think this room is kind of about Wolfgang. So Wolfgang, I think
She's
you should explain why have you left Islam? Are
I
you
mean,
thinking of
this
leaving
cannot
Islam?
be about me because I'm still a Muslim and I don't see any reason why would I even think about leaving Islam. So I don't know.
No, I know you have not left Islam and you're not leaving Islam, but like, so it says top reasons women to leave Islam. Are there any reasons because you're Muslim and you're female? So
I don't see any reason.
तो एक
Like,
काम कर लेते हैं।
I'm
हाँ, नहीं
pretty
वुल्फ
happy
गैंग,
with
वी
what
आर
I've
जस्ट
got.
नहीं ऐसे आपको इस तरह की शायद इस तरह की डिस्कशन कभी हुआ नहीं होगा ना, तो शायद आपको एस्पेक्ट्स पता नहीं होंगे। तो आज आप इसको सुनिए, हो सकता है सुनने के बाद आपको लगे दैट यू नीड टू रिकंसीडर। उस दिन हम लोगों ने वो भी रखा था रूम शादी, वो क्या कहते हैं, कैमल फिश ड्रिंकिंग वाला जो था, वो रिकॉर्डेड रूम है, मैं आपको भेज दूंगा पूरे फैक्ट्स और डेटा के साथ।
जी
खैर,
यार
मतलब
आंदोलन भाई,
इनफैक्ट द
किसी को
पॉजिटिव
आपने वैसे
आउटकम,
क्लब हाउस के ऊपर देखा है जिसने कोई खातून जिसने इस्लाम छोड़ दिया हो, मतलब पहले क्लब हाउस पे आने से पहले मुसलमान हो और फिर उसके बाद छोड़ दिया हो?
जी जी जी,
कितने लोगों ने छोड़ दिया? We have come across not only India में, भारत में, but विदेश में भी,
नहीं क्लब हाउस के
even
ऊपर।
from
आई एम
Middle East.
टॉकिंग अबाउट
नहीं
अच्छा
क्लब
वो
Middle
हाउस।
to
ये कह
Middle
रही
East.
क्लब हाउस में, पर ये टॉपिक भी तो पहली बार रखा गया ना, क्या कहते हैं शादी जी।
So it's just a pilot, right? मतलब ऐसा हुआ नहीं है, you are just trying कि अभी हम reasons बताएंगे तो हो सकता है कि कोई छोड़ दे।
जी
भाई हमारा काम है थोड़ा सा जागरूकता पैदा करने के लिए। हो सकता है कि probably you might be one of them who might feel okay, what, why I should think twice, because at the end of the day आपके ancestors तो पहली चीज तो हिंदुस्तानी थे, और उसके ऊपर दे वुड हैव बीन अ हिंदू या सिंधी या फिर जैन या बुद्धिस्ट हो सकते हैं, राइट? तो
No,
सोचने
my
वाली बात है।
ancestors were Arabs, so
ओ एरब्स,
well,
ओ
that's for one.
नाइस।
And I would love to stick to the very end
So
and see how it
I'm not
goes. Please remind
surprised.
me.
So I'm not surprised, Wolfgang, that a Pakistani
हाँ
coming
नहीं
and telling that my ancestors come from Arab. So I think you
जी
have an identity
हाँ,
crisis. But
नहीं
yeah,
नहीं
no,
नहीं,
not a
No,
problem.
दैट्स ओके
We'll
एसएम जी,
carry on. It's
दैट्स
fine.
ओके। हाँ,
Yeah,
actually
no
I would
problem.
like
अच्छा
Yeah,
to
no
एक काम
problem.
करते हैं,
That's your
स्टार्ट
personal
करते हैं,
choice.
Why are
थोड़ा
you
रूम
so
में
भाई एक
offended?
छोटी सी
हाँ
बात,
एक
SM, you
सेकेंड,
don't
छोटी सी
have
बात।
to
हाँ
be
I
offended.
शादी
said
Not
it's your
शादी
every
बोल
personal
क्या,
Pakistani
choice. It's
is
okay,
an
fine.
Indian.
It's
So
fine. It's fine to have an identity
अच्छा
crisis. But
yes,
मुझे
no,
थोड़ा
yes,
रूम चालू
please.
करना,
Deep
मैं वो
breath,
कर रहा था।
SM, deep
हाँ भाई,
breath. You are
सब
losing it from the
एवरीबडी
start,
प्लीज,
okay,
don't you?
Shanti, don't lose your
वुल्फ गैंग,
temper just because I told you something.
No,
अच्छा
SM
एसएम
एक सेकंड आंदोलन में
Let
एक छोटी सी बात
Andolan ji
है।
take it over. I think
Yeah, it's just
I've
something which
spoken
I want
whatever
to.
I have to speak to
No, that's
Wolfgang.
fine,
No,
that's
no, no.
fine.
And
I'm not
Wolfgang is
arguing
already
with you.
told.
SM,
Let's
calm
take
down.
it forward, Yashaji. We'll come
आंदोलन
back
भाई
to you.
एक छोटी सी बात कर लूं, मैं आंदोलन भाई से ही पूछ रहा हूँ। SM,
Okay,
don't
बोलना है?
worry, we
बोलो
are
बोलो बोलो।
cordial. हाँ, thank you. तो SM देखें, you're absolutely right. 90% of Muslims in the subcontinent, including Pakistan, probably have Hindu ancestors. लेकिन when it comes to certain families, I would say 98% और ऊपर चल जाता है. At least you have to give a leverage of 2% of people who carry their lineage, who have a family history, who are registered in Jordan as well as in University, in terms of being able to trace their lineage back 1400 years by name of every ancestor, and Neelam and I happen to be one of those people. ठीक है, हम अहमद शाह अब्दाली के साथ आए थे, कम फ्रॉम अ वेरी वेल नोन फैमिली इन दोज रिगार्ड्स। तो अगर आपको इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए होगी, वी विल टेल यू,
जी
यू कैन
जी
हाँ
गो
जी
एंड
अच्छा
चेक।
अच्छा ऐसे मैम वन सेकंड यू नो लेट्स नॉट एक छोटा सा हमारा लेकिन प्रश्न था शादी जी, कंटेम्परेरी अगर हम लोग देखें तो जैसे कई क्या कहते हैं मुस्लिम समाज में फतवे निकले थे जिन्होंने आईसिस को मुस्लिम मानने से मना कर दिया था कि भाई आईसिस इस्लाम है ही नहीं। ऐसा कई मॉडरेट मुस्लिम भी व्यूज रखते हैं दैट दे डू नॉट आर मुस्लिम्स और रिप्रेजेंट इस्लाम। इन लोगों ने यज़दी महिलाओं की, यज़दियों की पूरी पॉपुलेशन को आदमियों को मार डाला, कई महिलाओं को सेक्स स्लेव बनाया, कई सालों तक अपने पास रखा, उन महिलाओं से बच्चे भी हुए। तो शादी व्हेन दीज किड्स ग्रो अप who are born out of this sex slavery done by predominantly Arab horde of ISIS or Yazidis, would these kids be proudly carrying that heritage as an Arab heritage, or should they carry what should they carry? I don't know.
Andolan ji, if well, I've heard of these things as well, and in some cases you are justified that that's occurred, but then there are families and there are people from a different
नहीं मैं उनकी
background,
बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ,
like
मैं उनकी बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ शादी भाई, मैं
तो
इन
ये
बच्चों की
उस
बात कर
बंदे
रहा
पे
हूँ।
डिपेंड करता है ना।
हाँ ये जो यज़दी बच्चे हैं,
अंदोलन भाई, ये उस बंदे
हाँ,
पे डिपेंड करता है ना, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द पर्सन कि
which
how
person,
that person feels,
which person, which person?
whoever is in that condition, ये तो वो बताएगा ना,
You're
how
talking
can
about the
I
kid,
or
right?
you answer that?
You're talking about that kid, right?
Yeah, so जो उस
Yeah,
उनकी
yeah, okay,
प्रोजेनी
fair
में
enough.
आके, ये तो उनसे पूछे ना, how do they feel?
जी जी जी, मैंने कहा बस ये छोटा सा प्रश्न छोड़ देता हूँ।
आंदोलन, मेरा भी एक प्रश्न है। अगर साजी बोल रहे हैं कि हमारी लिनियज ये है, तो अगर जैसे आपने यजीदी का
ये
एग्जांपल दिया,
लेकिन
तो इन्हें
होता
क्या लगता
यही
है
है,
कि इनका
महिलाओं के ऊपर कोई भी टॉपिक
जी
रखिए, पुरुष समाज के लोगों से बर्दाश्त नहीं होता और वो लोग मतलब अपने सब लोग अपना पॉइंट रखने लगते। शादी जी ने भी वही करा, मैंने भी वही करा
नहीं
और सारथी जी भी
आंदोलन
वही
जी,
कह
ये
रहे हैं।
बात
हाँ,
वैसे एसएम ने स्टार्ट की थी, और अगर लेट्स बी फेयर, एसएम इज
हाँ,
वन
let's hand it back to the ladies. So SM, I think
हाँ
there's a reasonable amount of people on the stage. Let us proceed with this discussion. Okay,
आंदोलन जी,
and
एक सॉरी आपके डीपी पे कुछ लगा है, मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ वो क्या है, तो इसके बाद हम स्टार्ट
जी
करते हैं
ये
टॉपिक।
कबीर साहब का दोहा है, क्या कहते हैं
मुझे पंजाबी नहीं आती है, ना तो गुरमुखी आती है, तो
हाँ,
अगर
उसके
आप
नीचे अच्छा मैं आपको
अंदोलन भाई,
हाँ,
आखिरी चीज कहूंगा, मेरे पास इस रूम के लिए आज एक बोनस है। मुझे नहीं पता कि आप कोई मुसलमान महिला लेके आएंगे जिसने इस्लाम को छोड़ा है, लेकिन मैं आज आपको एक हिंदू महिला से इंट्रोड्यूस कराऊंगा जिसने पिछले हफ्ते
जी जी
वेल नोन पर्सनालिटी इस्लाम
जी
कबूल किया
जी
क्लब हाउस के ऊपर।
जी जी आप जरूर इंट्रोड्यूस कराइएगा।
तो उससे भी पूछिएगा जब रूम के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में व्हाट मेड
जी
हर
बिल्कुल
गेट
बिल्कुल
इनटू
बिल्कुल
दिस।
बिल्कुल 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 ये बात
इनफैक्ट हम ये भी सुनेंगे उनसे कि उनको क्या बोला गया है कि उनको कन्वर्ट करना पड़ा। आई थिंक दैट विल बी इंटरेस्टिंग आल्सो।
नहीं वैसे क्या कहते हैं शादी जी, कोई जानकारी में होगा कि ऑल इंडिया मुस्लिम सिया वक्फ बोर्ड के जो चेयरमैन थे, अब तो उनका नाम कुछ और हो गया, वो मतलब
त्यागी साहब
हाँ त्यागी साहब है अब तो। हाँ तो उन्होंने भी मतलब खैर चलिए हम लोग इस पे आते हैं, वो टॉपिक पे डाइवर्जन नहीं करते। एसएम मैम हम लोग इस तरह से लेंगे, हम लोग महिलाओं से विचार लेंगे प्रेडोमिनेंटली। There are a couple of more co-hosts which I am expecting to join in. So we would go through the various life cycle of a woman in Islam, starting from birth. We would talk about the kid circumcision, prevalent in which is prevalent as FGM in a lot of communities in Islam. We would also touch upon male circumcision because that's also child abuse prevalent in Islamic society and a few other societies, was largely prevalent across Islamic society. And then we would talk about growing up education. We would take up the India data of education, Pakistan data of education of girl child. We would then talk about marriages, divorces. Are there equality within Islam when it comes to marriages, when it comes to property right from parents, when it comes to property right from husbands, and of course, divorce. What is the kind of legal provisions are there within Islam with respect to divorces? We would also touch upon, a culture of rape called halala, within Islamic society. This is probably unique to Islamic society. And then, of course, what happens to women when they die and after
क्या आप
death.
मुझे थोड़ा बोलने देंगे इस बात पे?
क्या आप अरशद जी महिला है?
नहीं नहीं, हम मर्द है, मेल है हम। तो आप जो बोल रहे हैं, जो रिसेंस में
हाँ, तो अरशद जी,
जो टॉपिक पे बात
हाँ
कर
हाँ,
रहे हैं आप,
मुझे
हाँ
थोड़ा स्ट्रक्चर कर लेने दिए डिस्कशन को। कोशिश आज ये रहेगी कि पुरुषों को कम बोलने दिया जाए, मैं भी कम बोलने की कोशिश करूंगा एक्सेप्ट फॉर
तो
मॉर्निंग।
आप कम कहाँ बोल रहे हैं?
हम
आप तो
लोग
पूरा बोल रहे हो।
अरे पहले रूम
जी,
को तो
हाँ
सेटल
हाँ, वो
जाने दो ना।
ये बेसिकली क्या कहते हैं, दूसरी समस्या है। ये इस्लामिक मेंस की समस्या है, which is called coming to a good place and trying to disturb it. ये मतलब 10वीं शताब्दी से जो सब कॉन्टिनेंट के साथ ये मारामारी हुई है, ये उसका एक परिचय था। बड़ा आराम से डिस्कशन हो रहा है, बातचीत हो रही। एसएमजी मैं आपको हैंड ओवर करूंगा। आप एफजीएम के विषय में अगर आप कुछ बात करना चाहें, वुल्फ गैंग जी हैं, मीनाक्षी जी हैं, मिसराका जी हैं, हलीमा जी हैं। कोशिश ये रहेगी कि महिलाएं बोलें और आई वुड ट्राई जस्ट टू मॉड।
Definitely. I think, I mean, for whatever we have been discussing about, महिलाओं के बारे में, rather than me giving a opening statement, because मेरा और आपका ख्यालत एक ही है in terms of that मुस्लिम महिलाओं के पास equal rights नहीं है जिस तरह से वो claim करते हैं as per the Islam and the way they propagate it. एंड जिस तरह से ये लोग महिलाओं को फंसाकर कन्वर्ट करने की कोशिश करते हैं जबरदस्ती, या फिर यू नो probably the first thing is to have intercourse, and they know that जब intercourse हो जाता है तो there are more chances of the female members to get pregnant. And we know what happens next is they want the kid to be to be under the Islam. So it is very well known, right, कि ये लोग कैसे करते हैं। ये दिस इज नॉट द फर्स्ट टाइम, ये सदियों से हो रहा है। हमने ये यहाँ पे नहीं देखा है, हमने अपने भारत के हिस्ट्री में भी देखा है कि किस तरह से महिलाओं को हमला किया है, महिलाओं को रेप किया है, महिलाओं को किडनैप किया है और फिर उन लोगों को बाजार में बेचा है, उनको नंगा करके परेड किया है। आई मीन ये भारत में ही नहीं हुआ है, ये पाकिस्तान में भी हुआ है पोस्ट पार्टीशन। और फिर आइदर उनको फोर्सफुली कन्वर्ट कर दिया गया है या फिर उनको स्लेव बनाकर उनको रखेल की तरह उनको प्रोस्टिट्यूट में बेच दिया गया है। So there are a lot of things, and we have lot of stories that I can really come out with, which I have heard about it from the regarding महिलाओं की stories भारत में ही. So I would like to listen to people before I would come in. So this is my first stand. And yes, जो आपने बोला है ट्रिपल तीन I mean ट्रिपल तलाक का भी केस हमने देखा है कि how it has been misused by the male members, and
Right.
and how the women have शादी शुदा होते हुए overnight they became as a widow, not as a widow, sorry, as a divorcee.
Which
So
topic?
this has been Halima, just hold on. So we have seen there are a lot of things which have been misused, even though they would claim that triple talaq is nice. yet we see, the way it has been ongoing, and I'm very proud of our, about my country, that they have come out with a judgment जहाँ पे इसको बैन कर दिया गया है formally, and I'm sure that this will not happen hereafter in Bharat mein at least. At least we can safeguard the women's right. So we can go over to Panchali. Are you there?
Yeah. So SMG, as since Mini Ji, one of the other co-mods, and Nitya Ji, let me also give the co-mod to Nitya Ji, is already here. Just 1 second, Halima Ji. So हम लोग discussion, we will structure it this way. I would prefer if females speak, that would be better. I would just be modding the session. हम लोग एक महिला की जिंदगी में जिस तरह से उसकी जिंदगी पैदा होने से लेकर मृत्यु तक, और चूंकि ये थियोलॉजिकल डिस्कशन है, तो वी कैन आल्सो टेक अप आफ्टर डेथ एस्पेक्ट्स इन इस्लाम व्हेन इट कम्स टू वुमेन. So we would talk about the birth of a lady, girl child in a family. We would talk about we'll start with FGM, which is predominantly prevalent in Islamic society. We could touch upon male circumcision also, which is a child abuse prevalent, across the Islamic society. But briefly, our focus would be more on, the female child. Then we would look at the environment in an Islamic household, where, a kid child is growing. Yeah, just 1 second. I'm just structuring the discussion. Where a kid, girl child is, getting old from her early days to, maybe her education, when she's turning 12, 13, 14, 15. When she's the hormonal changes she's experiencing, sexuality, the first cousin marriage, and specifically in subcontinent where cousins stay together, what is the safety available to her within her own household, and then we'll come to marriage, property rights, divorces, rights on kids, death, and thereafter. So first, I think, as soon as a kid is born in an early age, FGM is a very prevalent practice in Islam. So, Mini Ji, SMG, Nitya Ji, Halima
Um,
Ji, please, go ahead.
I'll just
Let's
add
start
a
with
very
FGM.
small
Yeah.
yeah, I'll just add a very small point to what you have spoken about the MGM. I mean, मेरे को अभी याद आया कि this thing is practiced still in the Bora Muslim community, and it is very prevalent from the time the kid is very young. So just hold on, Halima. Hold on, Halima. Hold on,
They're not
Halima.
allowing us
You
to
need
talk.
to have patience, right? Thank you so
Halima,
much.
you will get your chance, dear.
Yeah.
You will definitely talk.
So hold on. So this is very prevalent, and the point comes over here, Andolan ji, ki they are doing it without any help of the doctor and all. Yeah, consult of the doctor, and the procedure that they do is so unsafe. And one more thing to that is the female is not allowed, especially when when she becomes adult, she's not able to enjoy the sex life, which only the males are allowed to do it, and that is so wrong. I mean, because sex is something that both are supposed to be allowed, and I do understand again over here Islam is again discriminatory over here. So yeah, that's my limited point. Miniji, over to you, if you can go ahead.
Halima ji wanted to come in. Let us
Sure.
give her the opportunity to speak. Yeah. So Halima ji, our first discussion is on FGM, female genetical mutilation. We would also briefly touch upon male genetic mutilation, but the primary focus would be FGM. So go ahead, ma'am.
Andolan, thank you everybody, and assalamu alaikum to my Muslim brothers and sisters here.
Jai Shri Ram.
So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Waalaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
The female circumcision that you guys talking about for FGM, I'm from the school of the Hanafi school, and they have it's sunnah to do, but it's not.
So Hanafi school is part of Islam, Halima ma'am?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's 4 mothers. There's Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi, and which is the other
Hanbali.
one?
If
Hanbali.
somebody, if moderators permit me,
I will
1
give
minute.
proof from
Alan,
Hadith
Uncle,
Alan
hold
also.
Gaji,
on.
please
He
hold
is
on.
talking.
Alan Gaji, please hold on.
I will give proof from
Right,
Hadith
Which is
also.
Alan
okay.
Gaji,
Every
Which
we'll
is
come
proof
back
okay.
to
from it.
you.
There
Hold
Which
are
is
on.
okay.
four
Alan God
mothers.
will come. We'll get back.
There are four
Mattis,
mothers.
please hold on. Let Halima speak. Mattis, please hold on. Let Halima speak.
I'm not feeling very well, so can you make sure that this doesn't happen again? I don't want to keep wasting
No
energy.
problem, no problem. Go ahead. Put your point.
Let let me read the hadith to
And get
you.
well soon.
Thank you very much. Circumcision is a sunnah for men and an honorable thing for women. Due to the weakness of this hadith and other hadiths that refer to female circumcision, with some of the narrators being known for deceptiveness and others whose narrations carry no weight, scholars of Islamic law have differed widely regarding its legal ruling. In the Hanafi school of law, female circumcision is permissible within itself, but not considered to be a sunnah, religious virtue. Second, it is considered a preferred act, mandub for women. In the Maliki school of law, they rely upon the hadith of Atiyah for this ruling. In Shafi school of law, circumcision is considered an obligation for both men and women. This is an official ruling of that school of thought. Some Shafi scholars express the view that circumcision is obligatory for men and merely the sunnah for women, and in the Hanbali school of law, circumcision is obligatory for men and merely an honorable thing for women. It is not obligatory for them. And the Hanbali jurist Ibn Khudaymah observes this is the view of many people of knowledge. Imam Ahmed said that it is more emphatic for men. So the circumcision is recommended for men, and we know that for legal health reasons as well. So lastly, I would like to mention that there is no recorded evidences of circumcisions done on the Prophet Prophet's daughters. I'll just come back. That's it for now, and I'll try and join in
So,
again.
Halima, my follow-up question is, what is the age for which you do the female, for the female?
There is nothing like that in Islam.
Just hold on, hold on,
Yeah,
guys.
Mattis,
Yeah.
if you interrupt again, I would have no option. But the discussion is
Age
primarily
about
happening. We would invite everybody, but don't interrupt until another call for.
Is it being done when she's a kid, or is it done when she's a teen or an adult?
So I'll have to look into the age, but if ever there was an age mentioned, and it's always mentioned at the time of marriage when the girl hits puberty.
She
So, this is not prevalent in all sects, only in few.
It's a weak hadith, and it's not fard.
Can,
It's
can I
not.
can I interject for a
One
second?
second, Samuel,
Uh,
1 second.
Just 1 second.
I want to
man,
bring this to context. It's important to bring the discussion. But otherwise, if you're going to keep talking about every kind of hadith, and we're going to keep going forever, basically bringing it to context, we talk about something right or wrong. Okay, so the process, whatever the reason is, whatever the weakness of the hadith is, whatever the interpretation is, but the practice is there. So I'm just going to draw a parallel here. If rape is allowed, if rape is allowed systemically in a religion, in the practice, and even if only 10% of the practice does it, but there is justified because it is allowed, so can that be justified? We are talking about the rightness or the wrongness of the
Can I
action.
come in?
Yeah, once again, no, I just want to keep it in context. So the rightness of, let's first establish that the practice is right or wrong. Depriving a woman of her sexual pleasure, or playing with her and toying with her, and dangerously doing a surgery kind of an incision on her, infringing on her right, when she doesn't even have the understanding or any right to say no to it, and forcefully done, and so sadly by the very women of the family also, including the mothers itself. That is a level of indoctrination. So let's first talk about the fact, everything else apart, is it a right thing to do? Is it a wrong thing to do? Let it be only one sector
Can I
does it,
can I
one
answer that?
person does it. Samuel, 1 second. I'm asking for Halima to. Sorry, I'm sorry for okay, Halima to answer me. Just answer me only first one thing, then we will go deep into other stuff. But is it right or wrong? Even if it is done systemically on one person, is it right or wrong?
Okay, so I kind of lost track of what you were saying. So you were saying if rape is allowed, and then
I drew a
this, what
parallel,
else
but I'm
is? Can you
asking
just?
you about FGM. Even if it is about a hadith being weak, if it is about misinterpretation, whatever, if it is being practiced by, let's say, 2% of Islam, one sector of Islam, okay, the
Yeah.
very act, is it right or is it wrong?
Yeah, if it's sunnah to do, it's a weak hadith. If people are doing it, it's not forbidden for them to do it. It's not like
I
You're not
want to
you.
say
answering my
something.
question. My question is very simple.
Yeah.
If a grown woman is going to the doctor and asking this to be done to her, understandable. She believes
Yeah.
in the hadith. She believes in the religion. She wants to practice what was preached in the religion.
Yeah,
More
if
power
she
to her.
wants
More
to,
power to her. She can go and
if
do it.
there's
But
a
if it
practice,
is
if there's
done
a
on a woman who's not an adult and who has not gone
yeah,
herself to a doctor to get it done, is it
yeah.
okay or not?
No, it's not. No, if it's against, if it's gonna harm that person, if it's a child especially,
No,
it's
no, no,
not
no, 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 no,
acceptable.
no, no, no. Don't go there. My question is very simple. A grown
Well,
woman going to a doctor with her own will because she really believes in this practice and she wants to do it to her own body. She goes to a doctor, gets it done, or she freaking brings a scissor to her home or a knife to her home, does it herself, or she hands it over to somebody in a family and says, "Do it on me." Okay, that's fine. But if anybody is doing it on a woman, is that okay or not?
why
on a kid.
she'll do it to herself? Isn't she gonna cause harm to
If
herself?
anybody doing it to her, is that okay?
Uh, let me. I
Okay.
think she has given an answer. Give me 1 minute, Nitya. She had
Women do
said
the
that
one.
it is considered a honorable practice.
It's a weakness.
When honor is attached to such a heinous practice, so obviously it's a human psychology
Wait,
that
can I finish?
they feel.
1 second. Let me just
Uh,
finish this.
Halima, don't talk over her, right? We
Halima,
need to finish this
let
so
me
we can
finish.
answer things
I
together.
heard you saying that it is kind of considered a
Yeah, I'm not
honorable.
gonna answer.
Honor is
I
attached to
can't
that
finish
kind
it.
of practice.
Minnie,
So
it's not. If it was about Hinduism, you would be the first to be
1 minute,
screaming.
1 minute, Halima. But I'm glad
When
it
it's
is not
about
in the
Islam, I want to be the
Halima.
first to speak.
I
Halima,
think
let me say
Halima, you
something,
need to
okay?
hold on.
Let me
Let
talk.
Miniji finish a point and then you come in.
You,
But it's
when I
religion.
was
It's not
listening to
religion.
you, you were saying it is considered, honorable thing for girls. So the
You
girls
said
are told
honorable
that
speech.
this has been performed on you. Now you are honorable
It
person
doesn't say that,
because.
Minnie. I never said that.
Okay, so what did you say?
Acha, okay.
What was that
Let me,
honor
Can I
thing?
just
Miniji, 1 minute.
respond?
Miniji,
Just
1 minute.
give me
Miniji,
like
1 minute.
30
Everybody, let
seconds.
me get the room back in order. Wolfgang will come to you. Halimaji, we will come to you. But allow people to finish the point. We will give you 30 seconds more, 60
Okay.
seconds more as
Say
required.
honor.
But, please do not interrupt every conversation. Miniji, finish your point and then we go to Wolfgang
Yeah.
and then to Halima.
Okay, the thing is that women are brainwashed. They are told that you are a better person now. You are because what is happening in this society is that they perform such practices, whether it's a scarf on the head, which is hijab or anything. They
अच्छा मिनी जी
attach the
थोड़ा
word.
सा हाँ
Hello,
थोड़ा
how
सा
are you?
हाँ मिनी जी
जी जी.
just 1 second अच्छा see let me set the rules because it's a large panel now. I would men are only allowed to speak when we call upon them to speak. Other than me, since I've created the room and modding the room, I'll probably take that extra privilege. The conversation primarily needs to happen between women. Primarily, it's not saying that we will not allow men to speak.
Hello, how
That
are
definitely can.
you?
Yeah, whosoever this is, please move him down. Okay, and Miniji, we'll talking about FGM. We'll keep discussing on FGM. If niqab and hijab are subsequent 12 years, 10 years, 13 years of life, we will come to that stage of life
Ando, I would
subsequently.
really much appreciate if I could just say couple of words about
Okay,
it. Yeah.
so 30 seconds, Samuel, to you, because it seems that you want to make an important point, but just ensure that it is important. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah, just very quickly. FGM in Islam, because Halima read from islamweb.net, is not haram. It is not zina, mean sin. It's not sinful. So even if it's not every scholar who it's obligatory in every school of thought, if somebody deems very honor, because they call it honorably, right? So anybody who actually says, well, we want to do FGM, no scholar will ever question it or go against it. That's the important part.
So,
It's
uh,
not sin, it's not haram.
let me just touch
It
Sure.
is
So,
absolutely,
fair enough.
it's honorable.
Point taken.
It's not mandatory, but it's not obligatory, but it's honorable.
ठीक है.
Islam should
Samuel,
be
thank you. Now we'll go to Wolfgang. Then I'll go to you, Halima.
Okay, thank you, Andalanji. All I want to say here is that just going on the basics, I'm not very religious. So just, on the top of my head, I know that it has been practiced in many countries, which include Egypt, Mali, and Djibouti, etc. as well, even in India and Pakistan. Practiced by Bohra community mostly, but at this point, it's not even uh, a religious thing. It's more about social norm or kind of a practice, in my opinion, because I've seen many organizations working in these countries to stop the practice. There are a lot of legislation as well which have been well, in fact, it's in act, but due to, because it's not really practiced in the hospitals, people do it at home, so it's really hard to stop it. But I know many organizations such as World Vision and World Health Organization who are actually trying to stop it. So and people are changing, so I think it will be it will end in maybe like couple of years, maybe, or more so. But I think it's more about the norms rather than the religion at this point.
Fair enough. Wolfgang, valid point made. At least finally some amount of recognition that it's not a right practice. But Wolfgang, you would agree that this practice is primarily in Islam itself. You won't
it
find that
started
in
off with
Christianity or Hinduism.
I mean, yes, it's a weak hadith, so I can imagine people following it. But with time, I think people can change and they should change. So if there is a problem, it should be acknowledged. But with that, I would also say that people who did not know about it, they are trying to change. I follow a lot of these organizations who are working to stop it. So I think it's not something that is spreading, it's kind of reducing in numbers, so which is encouraging.
Which is encouraging, yeah. So Halima, now over to you. Take your 60 seconds and
Uh,
speak your part.
Andolanji, I just
okay.
have one question to be asked
Sure.
since of what Wolfgang had told that there are organizations which are working on it. My very simple question is, I mean, is this thing being discussed in the Muslim community or within the house that this is something wrong, this should not be happening, or not only in the house, within the female members in the Muslim, is that
Within the
also
society.
happening? Yeah, within the society.
So, I mean, personally, I don't belong to a society where this is practiced. So, I cannot, this is not the first hand information, but since I follow these organization and women empowerment organizations as well, so I follow a lot of stories and I can look and dig into these stories and I can share some with you as well, where Muslim women who have been through these experiences are talking to their next generation, their moms, their grandmothers, and people are opening up about it. And I can see that there is a this discussion opening up in different communities, which is bringing a change.
Okay. Halima ji, over to you.
Okay, Wolfgang, do you know like this was firstly practiced by the Christians, so it's not like widely known for the Muslims to have done it, but like places in Nigeria, I think it was, I can't remember exactly, but anyway, these are the two paragraphs that I forgot to read, and I'm not feeling too well. But anyway, listen, female circumcision is supported by no decisive textual evidence. Only male circumcision is practiced due to the authentic hadith in the Sunnah that is a part of the way of the fitra. And female circumcision is simply a regional custom in the place where it is practiced. We must then take into consideration that many medical professionals consider it to have detrimental effects for the girls who undergo the operation. On this basis, it would be impermissible to allow this custom to continue, as bringing harm to oneself is unlawful in Islam. This mini, I just want to say that we are not brainwashed Muslim women. We are highly intelligent beings, right? We have the rights to education where a lot of you women are still struggling. And Alhamdulillah, like I say, because you've had the Mughals ruling in India for so long, that education is so widely available now for all you Indian women, and then across the board to Europe. If you compare the history when you guys had your rights compared when
Can
we
we stick to FGM, Halima ji? We'll come to the other aspects subsequently. Would that be okay?
general statements. I thought I'd just make a general
Bakari?
statement.
Because that goes out of context for the current discussion. So allow me to just hold your thoughts there.
Yeah.
We'll come to education and other details as well subsequently.
Can I
So
just make a before we
Basically,
move on?
Andolan, if it's gonna harm, then it's not right for.
Halima, mute yourself, please.
I was still Andolan. I was still in a
and
conversation.
people, let us not mod, right? Anybody other than the mods, please do not mod. Yeah, Halima,
Yeah.
20 seconds, finish your point.
But yeah, I was just saying to you, if it's anything that's gonna harm you, not just this, anything in Islam or anything, then it's not permissible for it to happen because yeah, this is against our religion and it's unlawful. Thank you very much.
So, okay, initially of, what I heard, Halima, that you read across FGM as, by the four schools of thought, either not to be obligatory or to be obligatory. And in the conclusion, you are saying it is unlawful in Islam. Do I get it right that you have moved away from your initial statements?
Yeah, it's unlawful. Like if it's gonna harm, it's gonna harm
So
the girls.
Halima ji, here
Yeah.
also, a bit of this is again, hypocrisy is also a prevalent problem in Islam. You
There's
first read
I'm
four
saying
schools of thought in Halima ji. Just allow. I'll give you a chance to respond. Everybody heard you in this room only, where you read the opinion of all four schools of Sunni Islam, and it was the FGM was either honorably
I
it was
never
either obligatory or just recommendatory in nature. Nowhere in the four school of thought it said it is unlawful because it harms female
a
child.
weak hadith.
And now you are saying, and which hadith now you are quoting which says that it is unlawful? Which hadith is this you are quoting?
Halima, only unmute yourself when other person is done. I know you're anxious to answer, but please wait, okay? Please wait.
Don't mute me while I'm in a conversation with Andolan. He's asking me questions. Can you
Yeah, a
not?
question, Andolanji is asking you a question, but wait for him to finish, okay? You will get the time to answer, but you're still talking. I'm saying, let him finish, and then you
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, that's okay. So Halima ji, what you can do is back channel me the a strong hadith which specifically says that FGM is unlawful in Islam. I will post it there. Till that time, let me move on to briefly touch upon something which is not just related to
Andolan,
girls but genitals, since we're talking about genital mutilation. Halima ji, please, my humble request, please, either send me a strong hadith which says FGM is unlawful in Islam. Otherwise, be honorable to accept that it is permissible
Word
in
for
Islam. If
for
not,
word.
if not necessary, it is preferable.
And Andolan ji, just one more suggestion. We can even ask Kay to talk on this. When you're talking about FGM and for the circumstances for the male, because she being a doctor would be able to give a more detailed information, if that's
But
okay.
yeah, but this is more about the the basic right of a person. At the danger to life or danger is a byproduct of it. But who has the right to do this to women or even to men for that matter, even MGM for that matter, when they are so young, when they don't have any say about it? And then what do? You do justify it because that's what you live with that, right? So you justify it. You're not going to live your entire life hating and loathing your own self. So why is this done at a younger age? Both sides. Safety is definitely an issue, but first and foremost, who gives the right to infringe on a person and their sexual life for the rest of their entire existence? So yes, I do agree with Andolanji that yes, either she should give the hadith and pinned here, which categorically says that Islam calls it unlawful and is not allowed. Then we will stop calling it systemic. Then it just becomes a crime. Then it is not systemic, then it's a crime. Somebody is doing it just like any other crime. But if it is allowed by the system, then it's a systemic problem, even if it only a small percentage of or small sect of the religion is doing, but it is systemic. We got to call it for what it is. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. SM, you were mentioning Kate, right? Kate. Yeah, Kate. Would you like to add something to it before we move to MGM? Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, you're
Yes, Kate.
audible,
Hello.
Kate.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Is this regarding? I just joined just 5 minutes ago. Is this regarding female genital mutilation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
At
ma'am.
this time, yes.
Any thoughts?
Yeah. So actually, I have no idea at what age this is done in women, young girls. Can somebody tell me at what age it's done?
Normally, the articles which I've read, it is done anywhere between 3 years of age to 8 years of age.
Yeah. So obviously, every body part has a function, right? So I understand in this key the whole labia majora and minora, everything is removed, right? And then that too in a non-clinical setting. So yes, it is very harmful. There are high chances of bleeding. There is high chance of hemorrhage and infections, and there is also difficulty in urinating at later stages in life. These are the like mota upar ka cheez I'm telling you. I have read this activist called Ayan Hirsi Ali. She's from Somalia. She's an activist regarding this. She's against female genital mutilation as it was done on her by her family in, while she was staying in Africa. Now she stays in Denmark. Yes, it is a very painful procedure and she still has difficulty in urinating as well. So it should, frankly speaking, it should not be done because the parts which are chopped off act as a protective function to the vagina and the urethra as well. So yes, it is not. It should be totally banned. It should not be done at all. Yep.
Yeah, Andolan ji.
Yeah. So we would brief, but now, I would also invite men to share their views because, since we're talking about genital mutilation for this particular topic itself, we would cover, since it's related to a kid, so we would also cover male genetical mutilation. Why it is done, why it is done without consent, why, somebody would want to, deform, body part, and this again is a practice which is very, 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 I think 99% probably more, is people in Islam do it. This I think is also prevalent in Jews and certain other community, but since Muslim population is the largest, deforming part of a young child's body, this is something which is prevalent in Islam only, and this is what we want to discuss. So maybe I'll open up the mics for people to discuss and talk about it. So whosoever wants to speak can flash its mic. Yeah, Samuel, and then just hold on. Let me just Wolfgang. Okay, Arsalan. Okay, so Arsalan, Wolfgang, and Samuel.
All right, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So when it comes to like banning female genital mutilation,
Can you be a bit louder, Arsalan?
is it better now or is it still bad?
It's slightly cracking, but you're audible.
Okay. You know what? Maybe let's go to Wolfgang first. I'll talk after that then.
Sure.
Basically, Arsalan, you're having a background song, coming. Either you're driving or something. So
There's
there's a
static.
voice coming from, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's
see.
first.
Yeah, Wolfgang, over to you.
Yes, I just forgot to mention one point that it has been acknowledged by the UN as well, and they are aiming to end all kind of the four kind of FGMs that are currently being practiced to be end by 2030. So, I mean, it has been acknowledged, and there is a lot of work that is being done, and a lot of efforts and a lot of fundings are being put into ending this practice. So hopefully by 2030 it will be abolished completely in all the countries that are members of UN.
Yeah, that's great. One dark practice of Islam, if that can be done away with, most welcome step. Yeah, Arslan, you can try now.
Am I audible now?
Much better.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
yes.
So here's this thing. Like when you're talking about from an Islamic perspective, I don't think so. At least personally, I don't know any major scholar who's against banning FGM. As a matter of fact, when it comes to a lot of these African countries where this is happening, scholars are ahead. And as a matter of fact, a lot of activists are able to voice their opinion on this matter because the scholars are behind them on this matter. And it's very interesting that when it comes to FGM in Arab world, it's mostly among Kurds who are not that religious to begin with. Because if you really look at FGM in African countries, for example, Egypt, there's a lot of what you can say, that goes there. And that when they go there, if you look in there, it's been happening since the time of Pharaoh. And their jurisprudence, that Shafi'i, that do allow not FGM but hooding. But I'll come to that in a bit. But even the reason they allowed is not based on Quran or Sunnah. They did try to try to find there's some narrations, but they're not that authentic. But even that is again more about hooding, not about FGM. But the reason they backed up and allowed is for two reasons. One, the cultural practice that was already going on. Secondly, the science back then, not today, back then, considered that to be like a practice that made things cleaner. So again, today, based on both of those reasons, we can literally abolish even hooding before under 18 or something like that.
Achha, one second, Arslanji, I'll just request you one second. Tariq Saab, if you deem fit, if you can join the conversation, that would be great. So I have extended the invitation to you. So Arslan, continue. We just, basically summed up.
Yeah, I'm almost done. So my point is that, if you're saying is that, okay, Islam is going to come in the way, it's not going to come in the way. Because as I said, a lot of activists, they're getting backing from what you can say, a lot of scholars in these areas. And very interestingly, a lot of Christian population in the same areas where this was considered a great practice, that's where it's happening. And even those Christian scholars, I'll give them, what you can say, credit, they've been against that too on themselves. So again, it's not the religion here, it's the culture that's going to come in the way. And that actually proves one of our point that when it comes to religion, and when it comes to something that's coming from above, that has superiority over culture, because culture can be messed up at time to time, and it could have messed up practices which could be corrected through what you can say divine guidance. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, Islam is not gonna come in the way for this.
So Arslan, Islam did have an opportunity, And as it is said that it was a religion which came down to uplift the status of women in the society, as it is claimed. I've heard a story from one of the hadiths that there was a practicing lady who used to who was the nurse to do FGM during the time of Muhammad, and Muhammad walked into his clinic or her clinic and asked her to cut.
Me
Just
or
one
he's
second.
audible?
Yeah, just one second. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah, you
you
are
are.
Yeah,
audible.
yeah,
You are.
yeah. So the Muhammad walked into that clinic and asked this lady to cut, but not so deep. So in
Wow.
fact, yeah. So that's what I've heard. And Sub-Zero, would you have just one second, Halima? I understand we need to, but there are at least 20 more people on the panel. I've just put forward this hypothesis. Sub-Zero, you being there, is there any specific religious text which prohibits, whether it prohibits FGM or it encourages FGM? The religious text of Islam. Sabzi, if you can, throw some light there.
No, there is no such hadith which prohibits FGM, but there is one hadith which, as you said, it regulates the same narration that you mentioned, in which this woman was doing this FGM, and when Prophet was passing by, he said, "Do it in such a way that it is not painful." So he did not prohibit it. He just regulated. He just said that it should not be painful, but he had the chance to, completely abolish it, but he didn't do so.
Okay, fair point. So, now that the modern Muslims at least acknowledge it on this panel that this is a dark practice within Islam, and they are even, at times not even ready to acknowledge that as an Islamic practice. I mean, it's a fair point. If the society can get rid of this dark practice, that is good. But briefly touching upon male genetical mutilation. Is male genetical mutilation recommendatory in nature or compulsory in nature?
Yeah.
And if
I think it was my turn.
yeah, just one second. Yes, Amber. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So first off, I just like you all to look at my picture. This is Islam. This is FGM. This is how it looks like. This is dull blades at infants, and even up to 13, 14, 15-year-old women or girls or teenagers. The only sole purpose for it is because, as Muhammad said, it is pleasurable for the man, and it's more desired. No, sorry. It is better for a woman to not cut severely and more desirable for a husband. So it's about the husband's desire. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. And anybody who says that it's a cultural practice, yes, the culture comes from Muhammad himself, and that his own tribe used to cut it, and Muhammad did not stop it. He had no problem with it.
Can you speak
So,
Yeah,
about
Puni,
the British
just
so,
Halimaji,
so,
Halimaji, please.
as I was saying, yeah, anybody
line?
who gonna come and tell me this is prohibited,
Otherwise,
I would
Samuel,
like
just
you to
one
give
second.
me.
Samuel, Halima, if you're going to interrupt him once more time, I'm very respectfully, we're going to have to move you down. Samuel is making a point. Let me complete. No, Halima. If you unmute one more time, I'll move you down. So, and then, but we'll bring you back up. When it's time for you to speak. But if you're going to keep unmuting when someone is talking, you need to go down. So we cannot keep on, treating you with kid gloves continuously. Please, and have some decorum, some decency when you're in a panel like this. Yes,
And
Samuel, please
after
continue.
Samuel, it's gonna be Punitji.
I also need to
Okay,
speak
thank
on
you so much.
Dolanji. Yeah.
Sure, we'll come to
So,
you.
yeah. So anybody who says this is not something Islam permits, I would like you to give me a hadith where Muhammad said this is haram, this is zina, you should not do it. Because so as far as we have gone through the sources so far, nothing prohibits FGM in Islam. As we all said, it's not obligatory in some school of thought, but those who says that it's not obligatory will not go against those who deem it to be honorable and keep doing it. They will not absolutely go. They will not go against it. They will just keep it happen. So anybody who comes and voices their voice and objections in Africa today about FGM, because it is the biggest problem is in Somalia and also other parts of Africa. in Muslim nations, I would say, not Christian nations. So anybody who comes up to those places and voices their opinion and objection to this are actually coming from non-Muslim countries or from Western world and trying to help. It does not come from the scholars. It does not come from the sheikhs. It does not come from imams. In fact, their own neighbors are policing their own newborn childs, waiting for them to, be cut to do this practice. So yeah, I wanted to tell you about male circumcision. I know there is different opinion about this, but in my opinion, you cannot compare these two practices for so many reasons. Like, just look at the blades they're using, and look at the infections, and look at the why it's done. All right, it's to take away the pleasure of a woman's sexuality, and I cannot say it's the same case for male circumcision. People have a different opinion about this. I do not have any objections towards male circumcision. A lot of people have, but honestly, I don't see it as such a problem as FGM, because FGM is cruel, is barbaric, it's disgusting.
Thank you.
And I have not seen anybody suffer severe consequences from male circumcisions. Maybe there have been one or two cases that people can point out, but that's kind of like one in a it's in the minor spectrum. But while as FGM, everybody who's gone through it has suffered through it, right? It's not a good practice at all. Like it's just vile and disgusting and barbaric, and every
Yeah,
woman
point
who
taken,
has gone
Samuel.
on it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay.
Point taken. Yeah, Punitji, and then Sheen, and then Agnostic. Punitji, over to you.
Namaste everyone. So I actually wanted to take forward Arslan's point. Too bad he left. And mine is, I'm not a scholar on this female genital mutilation or this aspect of Islam. But he made the point that maybe it's a cultural thing and it's not a dominant part of Islam. The problem with Islam is, they have this concept of blasphemy. And the Christian also had it, but, now they have gotten rid of it. And also that the perfection of Muhammad. So what it does is you basically have no space to basically dissent or critique. Like if a mullah says this is what Muhammad did or this is what Islam is, you just have to obey. And if you don't, then sir tanse juda. So what that sets in a system is intellectual bankruptcy and intellectual degradation, which goes to culture. Like once it doesn't matter whether he said it or not, or it's in this hadith or what are these. If the local mullah he says basically this is, and this becomes an accepted thing, then you can't just reason whether it's good or bad or something like this. And also I want to say it's what Arslan said, culture and religion. So religion and culture, they are not just independent of each other. To give you an example, like we are Punjabis, like Pakistanis are Punjabis, we are also Punjabis, right? So in our culture, it is like the most shameful thing to do to marry your first cousin. Like this has no basis in us, and this is actually, if somebody would do it, this is a huge abuse if somebody would accuse you of doing. But this was an Arab culture. But when the Pakistanis or the Punjabi Muslims, they accepted, which had no basis for thousands of years and which was seen as a big sin, but because Arabs did it, they started doing it themselves. And now you look what is happening to these Pakistanis in UK. They have become such a big burden on the entire system because they have such high case of
अच्छा पुनीत
genetic
भाई,
diseases. Because they
हाँ
are
पुनीत
just
भाई,
marrying.
पुनीत भाई, थोड़ा सा actually हम लोग I'll just if you are here with us, we were discussing it actually in the female life cycle.
But
you're not audible, Punit
so
bhai,
I'm
you're
saying,
not
I'm
audible.
giving an example where culture, religion is basically forcing culture to do what it seems like a sinful. So religion can change something. So religion is the most powerful element. So imagine this is something that you should never do. But just because religion has said, now they don't question it and they started doing it themselves. In Punjabis, to marry your first cousin is a very bad thing. But Pakistanis do it just because they said the religion is doing it. So once the argument becomes like this, the religion is saying it, then there is no space to critique or something like that, and they have to follow it.
Sure. Point taken. Then Agnostic, you wanted to say, but after you are done, we would finish this discussion on FGM. because there is a broader concurrence on the panel that this is a barbaric practice within Islam, and that needs to end. And one of the reasons why women should ideally never take birth in Islam, if as soon as possible they should, move away from it. Agnostic Ji, over to you, and then we will move on to the next,
Sure.
discussion, which is, yeah.
Yeah, sure, Andalaji. So people here at least have accepted that it is a barbaric practice that needs to be stopped. But what happens if it is being practiced by the people, and if the government takes an action to criminalize this practice? Okay, they go to the courts. They go to the courts saying that this is a religious practice, and I have given you the link also, Andolanji. So there is a Supreme Court case happening in our India. I mean, requesting the government not to stop this female genital mutilation practice. So this is how the dangerous this cult is. If something is said in their religious text, they can go to any extent to defend and practice their religious, no matter how barbaric it is. So people here, I mean, who might have a moderate view, say that it is a barbaric practice. It is barbaric practice, but people who are blinded by this religious cult, they won't see this as a barbaric cult. And this is why one of the primary reasons why
A
women
small
should leave
interjection,
this.
Agnostic Ji. A small interjection, Agnostic. We'll just keep focused onto the micro topics within the larger topics, rather than making sweeping statements. So that's so that the environment in the room could be reasonable, for a discussion perspective. That's a humble request, right?
Sure, I'm done with my statement. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Agnostic.
I have posted the link also in the chat. Thanks.
Okay, fair enough. So, we move on to the first stage of life, within Muslim girls, this thing, and she has a very high chance of facing a barbaric practice of her genetical parts being mutilated. One of the primary reasons for this genetical mutilation is to, and probably we would experience this repeatedly across a woman's life. It is to disturb her sexuality, right? And with that, just I wanted to put forward that as a point: an interference in women's sexuality. This religion starts as early in disturbing the sexuality of a woman as early as 3 years, 2 years of age. Let's go to the next aspect when a girl is into her teens, and we are aware
पाकिस्तान मुर्दाबाद
ये भाई इस तरीके का कोई जो भी बोल रहा था उनको
Yeah,
नीचे कर दीजिए
remove that
प्लीज।
person. Go on.
या हाँ, अगर कोई इस तरह का करेगा अगली बार रिमूव भी नहीं करेंगे, रिमूव फ्रॉम रूम कर देंगे, राइट? So next step we come into which is a very practiced, again predominantly an Islamic practice currently in the modern world, is the first cousin marriage. Now one would say just one
आंदोलन जी, मेरे एक दोस्त है
ये-
सौरभ रसगुल्ला, उसको
हाँ
प्लीज ऊपर लिख दीजिए।
ब्रज जी को मैं नीचे कर रहा हूँ, इन्होंने फिर बीच में इंटरफेयर करा, इनको भी नीचे कर रहा हूँ। हाँ, तो क्या कहते हैं, तो ये हम लोग फर्स्ट कजिन मैरिज किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में डिस्कस कर रहे हैं? हम उसको शादी के समय तो डिस्कस करेंगे, हम अभी गर्ल चाइल्ड सेफ्टी की बात कर रहे हैं इन दी हाउस होल्ड, जहां पे सेक्स विद इन फर्स्ट कजन इज परमिसिबल. हाउ सेफ इज द गर्ल चाइल्ड? In mostly in subcontinent, we see there is a concept of joint families where chachas, etc., stay together. How safe is a young girl child, 10-year, 11-year, 12-year-old, within her family environment, where is she supposed to be the safest? How this first cousin marriage have a bearing again on interfering with open expression of sexuality, even inside her most safe zone, which is her household. So you can flash your mics, whosoever want to speak on this. Abhaji, you would like to say something on this particular
I think
topic,
Puneet want to
safety of
say
women?
too.
Puneet ji, over to you.
Asul mein, like actually, like when this grooming gangs happened. So like I don't know if you watched the documentary, and it's so shameful, because like the BBC, it took down all these documentaries and stuff like that. But when this thing first came out, I think, I don't know, it's 2014-15, and I was doing it. At that time there was a lot of news and it's happening. So there was, of course, there are good people in everything, and there was one burqa clad lady and also some. So they are just like, like they are. This thing is basically coming out. These monsters, and who are basically raping thousands and thousands of children. Do you think they become like good people? When they come to their home. But the thing is, like the shame culture is so strong that the issues basically like don't never come out. So the thing is, for of course, you just imagine what these people have gone on. Like there is risk involved. Even if they have law and order is a joke in UK, that they could get it. Like you are applying drugs, you are spending money. You are going against the law. You are breaking so many things. Inside the home there is nothing. So it's a shame culture that basically actually never came out. And there is another guy who basically was a Sikh who was working in the UK. His name is Bhai Mon Singh. I would connect you with him, and maybe you should have him here, and he will tell you so many things. For example, he brought out so much information, like actually more than this white girls, in terms of what's happening to the Hindu and Sikh girls. And they basically pay money to do like this kind of a thing, like to like as a child, especially, even like in our culture, even if you are in a neighborhood, like the guys of the neighborhood would just try to protect and look after what's going to the school, whereas they would predate over it. And they would, like, the local mosque would pay like up to 10 times. I forgot the exact figure, but if you convert like a white girl, you get X amount, and if you convert a Hindu or a Sikh girl, you would get 10 times the amount. So again, he actually spoke it on a documentary on BBC. He basically, they edited it, and now that documentary is removed from BBC. So they have just like put water over all of it. But actually, like, you can't get this information. But for sure, like, this was actually much more happening in their households. But the shame culture is so strong that actually it never came out. So this thing, when that you can, to a girl, especially, who is not even a teenager, you can look at her sexually. And like, I think that just creates its own sets of pathology and very, very serious social problems. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Sure, and which further validates the point, security of women within her household. Sheen, you are flashing the mic. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I was waiting for very long to get the mic. I don't want to break
My
the
apologies.
decency of the room,
My
but
apologies.
it's fine. As you all are talking about Islam and the things for the Islam, the first thing I was when I was listening to you guys was about that circumcision for the woman, which is absolutely cruelty towards a woman. I accept it. But do we have any Muslim here to justify what you people are saying? Because as Puneet is making continuously statement like they have some money to convert a woman in Islam, something like that. Because these are like that WhatsApp university theories. He
No,
doesn't have a
not
proof or
actually.
something. Let me
Sheen,
I
you
speak,
have
can
a
Baba.
you can
cousin
do
who are
that.
going
Let
going to
Please, please,
Can I
please
can
don't
I
interrupt Sheen. Please don't interrupt Sheen. Let her finish. Sorry, Sheen. If I'm referring you correctly, but let Sheen complete, and then only we respond to her. Right? It's unreasonable for a point not being getting completed. Sheen, over to you. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I don't like to interrupt anyone. That's why I try to mute myself and others speak. So the thing is, I am a humanitarian, but my family is a Muslim. So I have some information regarding the Muslim culture, regarding the Muslim religion, but I never seen these things which you people are discovering. Maybe if you consider a part of which is created, they're like Bohra, they are not considered to be a Muslim because they don't follow the Islam, the actual Islam. So if something is happening in Bohra culture, you cannot say the Muslims are doing that thing. Like Puneet was saying about again and again about Muslim. So there are some Sikhs who do something. We cannot label whole Sikhs like Khalistan and all. We cannot label every Sikh guy with that. So same is with the Muslim. I would appreciate you if you're sharing something because it's really nice. I think the discussion is quite interesting. Thanks to the moderator Nidya, the way she moderated, it's easy for us to learn something. So I'm here to learn, to listen to you guys. But if you are giving any kind of a reference, please give it with the
I can give
appropriate
reference. I can
reference so
give
that we will
reference.
get.
I have a question.
Thank
Yeah,
you
I
so
ha-
much.
Alanka,
Can
we'll
can I
just,
answer? He
just,
asked me something. Can I just,
Minichi.
you know, like,
Yes, I'll come to you.
I'll
I'll
just
come to
give
you. I'm just
reference.
coming to
I'll just
you.
give
You.
reference.
Alan God, Alan, okay,
I've been waiting for a
Shajid,
long time.
Shajid, I'll also come to you. But you never flashed your mic before, so so Puniji, you have a full right to respond. But my humble request again is, when we are talking a particular micro topic, let's just stick to that micro topic. So there are two micro topics we briefly discussed. One is on FGM. Second is on the first cousin marriage and the safety of girl child within a whole household. Because of the pressures of first cousin marriage. So Puniji, respond to her, and then we move to Alan Gard and then Shaji.
Shin, like, first of all, like, I'm sorry, maybe this is the first time you're listening to me. So my thing is never to actually like demonize Muslims. And if you see, like, if you hear me a few more times, you will see, like, you can't really accuse me of that. And like, you seem like a decent person, and I have no intention of doing it. But this was actually the problem in the UK. Everybody has about the grooming gangs, and it was just, you have more Indians than Pakistanis. So what is the difference and it was, yeah, there were a couple of Sikhs involved, but it was just like the Pakistanis who were doing it. So there was a religious element to it. You have to explain it. Like in statistics, we call it ceteris paribus. All of them were pretty much the same. The Pakistanis and Indians went to the UK at the same time, lived in the same neighborhoods, but you never heard from it. And because people would be ashamed or afraid to bring this point, this madness went out for 2-3 decades unchecked. So if you see, the first cases actually happened in like early 90s, from what I have. And there has been, like, for example, they have been removed from the BBC. But from the other side, like, you please just do this grooming gangs and things. And in Rochdale, in Telford, it was not 1 or 2 cases. It was like tens of thousands of children, and done in a very, very organized way, and done only by like this Pakistanis and a few Afghan immigrants. The Indians also lived it, and they didn't do it. So you explain what was the difference. The difference, and it's not to demonize, but the problem certainly existed. And when you find, at the Sikhs, they were alarmed. The government didn't want to do, because they didn't want to be called a racist. So this Bhai Mohan Singh, I think his organization is Sikh Awareness Network, something like that. I can forward you the link. And they started working on the ground, and they just said, like, this is their findings. And there is some documentary, like the BBC removed it. Maybe you can get it on a torrent or something. It's not, they are saying things in the air. So it becomes almost impossible for a girl when they do this. And so they have to change their name, send to Canada, change their family or do it. And this is what basically the court judgments have come out. This is not even just a case. The courts have ruled that they will attack women, girls who are 11 years old, 12 years old, go from them, and do it in a very, very systematic manner. And my simple case was this. So it's just like, why is this happening in one community? And these people who are raping like tens of thousands of children, really, what do you think, they would not touch the like girls at their house, where there
Sorry
is
to
less
interrupt
risk?
you, Puneet. I'm really sorry. I was listening to you. I'm not denying your facts or I'm not accepting your facts. Just I'm saying that while you're quoting something, give a reference to particular thing. Like you right now talking about UK Muslims, right? So I'm a Kashmiri. So we don't consider ourselves labeled with the India or Pakistan, most of the Kashmiris. So Muslim UK, you can see the people Muslim in UK. So to label a group, there are a lot of sects in Islam, 72. So which sect is doing that money thing? Just label it. Because if you're telling Indians are doing wrong, you are telling everybody is doing wrong. So rather to say a particular thing, you're getting my thing. I will explain you in
Shin, I get
Hindi.
it.
मैं
Like,
आपको
okay, I
हिंदी में
get your
बोलता
thing.
हूँ कि
Like,
अगर आप किसी
मैं
कम्युनिटी की
समझ रहा
Acha,
हूँ.
बात
one
कर
minute.
रहे हो
Acha,
तो
हाँ,
one.
किसी
Puneet
sect की
I
बात
Bhai
I would like
Sheen,
to
Puneet Bhai
come
and
in,
Sheen, we are
Andolan.
slightly deviating away from the topic.
I would like
So,
to come in, Andolan ji.
Atharvichi,
Question.
just 10 seconds. Let me get the house in order and I'll come to you.
I
So,
will give reference.
uh,
She
just 1 second. Alan Guard, 1 second, my friend. 1 second. We'll come. But the FGM chapter is closed. It is, the entire panel accepted. that it is an Islamic practice, and at the same time it is
Hold on, I haven't
dehumanizing.
spoken on that yet. It is not
So okay,
closed.
okay,
But
so
time off.
hold on, guys, hold on. My humble request is a large panel. It's very difficult to control. But but you have to just help me out to manage the discussion. So Shaji and Analgad, you want to go back to FGM? We're gonna open FGM, that micro topic
Yes,
within
yes.
our
Sir,
broader
I will
discussion for
not.
another. Just hold on, just hold on.
Just hold on.
So we're
Guys,
gonna
don't
open it for.
interrupt, right?
Uh,
Let
uh,
Andolan ji finish his point.
So we're gonna give 90 seconds to Shaji and 90 seconds to Alan Card, but nobody else would, will be given a counter or a counter to counter. Shaji, over to you.
Can I add Andolan ji?
अच्छा अथर्वी जी आप अभी ऐड करना चाहेंगी या इन दोनों के पॉइंट के बाद इज इट ऑन एफजीएम और
Abhi, yeah.
समथिंग एल्स अच्छा चलिए
No, I
फिर
just
आप यू
wanted to add
सो हाँ हाँ
before this is for Sheen. Sheen, because the topic of this room is about Islam. If your topic of this room about just FGM, then probably we might have included data which is related to the FGM practiced across all community. And when it comes to context of India, we are going to talk only about Islam because FGM is practiced only and only in Islam, not in. We have Jewish community as well, Christian community. They're also Abrahamic religion, Zoroastrian community, and all of our four of Indic religion. None of that practices Islam. FGM. Also, the FGM is not just common for Shia Bohra community, but also in the Sunni Shafi community of Kerala. There were renowned surgeons who were practicing this community. There's a whole report by Sohia. It's a movement which was going on. And Shafi cleric actually came on the road and they threatened and to file a lawsuit that if you try to ban this practice, we will be सर संसुदा ऐसा उनका मैं आपको हिंदी समझ में आ ही रहेगी. I'm sure I can pin the articles. I did already pin one article, but there are detailed article on that, what happened in Kerala, what happened in the different states, not just in Rajasthan or Gujarat, but Madhya Pradesh, Chennai, wherever these communities were there, they were, and even after this, we go to the UN report. India is not even included in this report when it comes to FGM. So that is very ironic because 75% of the Bora community people do this, and even the Shafi people, but they were not included in the data because even the women have come out and said, this is what has been done to you. Why are you not including our data? So imagine they are not. Imagine how widely this practice might be still be going on in India. So do not think that we are attacking Muslim. It's just because see, as a polytheist, this is very horrible when you learn it from the outside. And it is we live among these people. These are one of the second majority community of India. You never know when they will start practicing widely and when they will start affecting our girls as well. So we have to bring out this issue. And we have to point out that this is an Islamic practice for us because none of the other people practice that when it comes to India.
Thank you so
Shaji.
much, Athavi. I will just get back to you. I will just research first. And thank you so much for bringing out this. If this is the so I have no knowledge about it, so I will prefer
And
to listen
if
to
I
you.
can go
Thank
very
you.
quickly.
I think
Thank you. We go to Shaji.
Okay, thank you very much. I would firstly like to point out whatever occurs in India is not generally accepted as what happens in Islam. There are three main epicenters around the globe. For Shias, it's the Qum University in Qum in Iran. For the Sunnis, it is Al Azhar, which deals with the old Malki, Shafi, Hanbali, and also the Jafriya sect as well. And then for the Salafis, you have Medina University in Saudi Arabia. When you look at the fatwas coming out from there, whether they are from Egypt, there is a consensus that FGM, whether it is the all major five sects of Islam, they are forbidden. I think India was the last country or one of the. Can I please complete? I did not interrupt anyone. I've been here from the beginning of time. This room started, and I have been very patient, and I have heard every single person here. So please do not interrupt me, even if you do
Shaji,
not
make your
disagree.
point. Make your point.
I
Yeah, yeah.
am
No, no, don't give
making my
lectures.
point.
Don't give
So,
lectures. Make your point.
SM, can
So
you
you
please
let
let
him
me?
talk?
Yeah,
Well, I'm a
thank you.
mod. I'm
So,
not going to listen to lectures. So go ahead, make your point.
So the fact of the matter is, India was that country where triple talaq was allowed. All three epicenters around the globe, majority of the
Stick to
Muslim
FGM.
countries. No, I am coming to that. 52 countries did not have that practice. Right. Now we come to FGM. When we come to FGM, that has been a debate. It is a known fact, even in the West, that FGM is more a cultural practice in northern African countries who pertained it. The hadith you have presented, again, there is a way to look at the hadith. The chain of narration is clearly hadith. It's basically of that hadith is Zahif. It basically states that it is the narration is weak, and that has been debunked on various times. Now, the fact is, if you are unaware of something, and yes, if it is being practiced in India by Muslim communities who are following that, it does not make it Islamic. It is not a part of Islam, whether you are a Shiite or a Sunni, or you follow any of these madhabs, which come in those two sects. So I think if we're going to quote that, then we should come with authentic references. So when it comes to authority of Al-Azhar, that is accepted worldwide. When it comes to Medina University, that is accepted worldwide. It is the seal for the Salafis.
Okay,
When
so
Al-Azhar comes to,
land your
hold
point.
on, I am landing my point. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
Shaji, do not try to. Ek minute.
I'm
When the mods
educating
are
you.
speaking,
I
I
am
yaar,
educating
hold
you.
on. I know you
Stop
are speak. You
Why
are
are
shouting.
you
educated.
crying,
I
SM?
know you are
Why are
educated.
you
Okay,
SM
I know you are
crying?
educated.
Why are you
Don't
Yeah, I
try
have
to
shouting?
be a.
something to
Arey
say.
yaar, don't try to
चीखे
be an
क्यों मार रहे
uneducated
हो?
person.
Ask
चीखे क्यों
Anand
मार
Arey
रहे
Madam,
हो?
he
yaar,
will speak
don't
about
act.
Islam.
Can you just mute yourself? Mute yourself. Mute yourself. I think let's make it
Why
very
do
clear
you
when
want
the
to
mods are
teach?
speaking between. Hold on, guys. When the mods are
Okay,
speaking in
so
between, let the mods speak in between.
so
We
let
will
me
give
do
you a
one thing.
chance to proceed to
SM
complete.
मैम
Yeah,
SM मैम मैं एक 10 सेकंड के लिए मुझे आप टेक ओवर दे दीजिए हाँ
please.
so Shaji, you made your point that there is a fatwa issued by Al-Aqsa, by Medina, and one more place, right? You mentioned Shaji from the
No,
Shia
so
plebeian.
again,
Just hold
Andolan,
on, just hold on, just hold
hold
on.
on, not a
Shaji,
fatwa.
Shaji,
It's not
Shaji,
a fatwa.
Shaji, Shaji, hold on, hold on, hold on. You said that all these three, seats of Islamic jurisprudence, you started by saying have issued a fatwa against
Ijma,
FGM. Can you finish?
ijma, ijma.
Can you what? Okay, can you back channel me and then I'll go to Alan Card. Okay, so I'll paste it up so that your point is well established, Shaji,
Okay, I'll
and
just
I'll
do
go to
that
Alan
right
Card.
now.
Alan Card, yeah. Thank you.
Saji,
Alan Card, over to you. But please, please don't interrupt. Anybody who interrupts goes down. Please, Alan Card, over to you. But do
Yeah,
not take more than 90
One
seconds.
sec. Yeah. Thank you. You see, I had at least 5 authentic hadith, which is called Sahih hadith of Jami Tirmidhi, Sahih Muslim, and others. But unfortunately, I was waiting for a long time, but my laptop I am not able to open it up. So there is a problem. But what? So I will not be able to give you the actual number. Once I open it up, I will blink and then you can permit me to give the reference. But what all these reference says, these are all Sahih hadith. I mean, I mean, all of you know sects of Islam like Dawood ka community,
So, Alan
like
Card,
Hanafi,
why
Shafi,
don't
and
we do
all.
one thing? Alan
Yes.
Card, why don't we do one thing? Once your laptop shoots up, blink it and I'll bring you back. Would that be fair? So that you
Yeah.
can give the reference.
Only,
Yeah.
I mean, one second. Only thing all these references say is that female genital mutilation is a part of Islam because clearly a woman was doing this katna of a female, and Prophet Muhammad told that woman don't take it too far. And there is one another hadith of Jami Tirmidhi, which is a Sahih one, which says that when two circumcised parts meet each other, that is how you have sex with a girl, two circumcised parts meet each other, you should have a bath. In Arabic, it's actually called bath. Is called gushi, ghusi. So all these hadiths, I mean, once my laptop shoots up, I will tell you the references. Thank you.
Okay,
Can I quickly
fair.
respond to that? Just 10 seconds,
Shaji,
Andolan.
Shaji, he
Andolan,
didn't
10
even made a
seconds.
point.
I
Do one thing,
always give you.
Shaji. I'll come to you.
No,
I
then
understand. What
the
I'm saying is,
conversation
he's not.
flows.
Shaji, just 1 second. Shaji ji, 1
Okay.
second, right? He has not made a
He
point.
has made a
I've
point.
asked him
I'm
to
going
make
to
his point
request
when
him something. So when he
you have
brings,
okay,
so
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
एक मेरी
So
भी
the thing
रिक्वेस्ट है, एक मेरी
is,
भी रिक्वेस्ट है।
so
शाहजी,
my
आप बस एक बात बता दो मुझे कि आप फैक्ट बोल रहे थे, कोई इस्लाम का एक फैक्ट
Please,
तो
no one
बता
else
दो।
talk. Let him talk now. Shazi is talking. Let him talk, please.
Thank you very much. So the thing is, the gentleman who was speaking, he basically said there are 5 hadith and they are all sahih. I would like to ask him that the books he has mentioned, when he's going to be quoting them, there is an actual category in terms of gharib, Hassan,
Okay,
all books in
Shaji,
that
hold
We
on.
are
know all
Shaji,
these
hold on.
books.
not
Shaji, hold on.
authentic.
Shaji, hold on. This is precisely the reason, Shaji. I also said, hold on. Guys, anybody whose mic is open, throw him down. Uh, you know, uh, you know. Puniji, 1 minute. I'm coming to you. It's a large panel. Kindly try to understand. Mods also get slightly frustrated. Shaji, this is precisely the point I made. I asked him to bring up the hadith and quote it. Right?
No, you did, but you did not ask him to quote
I,
the
I,
narrations. He
so
mentioned books and he is under
Shaji,
the
hold on,
impression that
Shaji,
all
hold on.
books
You
related,
need not
all
talk.
hadiths in that are
Shaji, hold
sahih.
on, Shaji, hold on.
I'm holding on.
If you are a scholar, okay, I understand that there are a lot of shameful facts in the Shahi Hadith, which the new breed of scholars want to classify as zaf or incorrect, right?
Andolan,
But when your
if I can
scholars
prove
engage,
to
just
you,
1 second,
since those
just
books were
Shaji, 1
made,
second, Shaji, 1 second, Shaji, 1 second,
those
Shaji, 1 second. Why do you have to
classifications are
shout
there are not
loudly?
because you make incorrect.
Saji, 1 second, my friend, 1 second. I do not know. Sorry, who moved him down. Let him pay that back. Yeah. Shaji, my simple point is I've asked him to quote it. Once he quotes it, you can have that conversation with him. If he has not quoted anything,
Yeah,
why
my
do we feel
laptop is
need to
open.
fight
My
right now?
laptop is open.
Yeah,
If my laptop is
yeah,
open, I can now
yeah.
give
Okay.
all the
Well,
references.
let us do one thing. Just let us do one thing, Alan
I think
Darcy.
Shazi left.
Yeah. No, I don't know what happened.
Shazi
Yes.
No,
left.
Shaji is there. I can see him. I can see him. Did somebody move him down?
So shall I speak?
Okay. Yeah. Let's
Shall
not
I
move
speak?
people down. Just 1 second, Alan. Just 1
Yeah,
second.
thank you.
What we don't want this room to become is who's now there's a lot of noise coming. Alan, can you switch your mic off? Yeah. What we don't want this room to become is a theology discussion of every single line item, whether it is coming from where or not. The blatant fact is majority of FGM is practiced in Islam itself. That's a proven fact. UN has come up with that data. If somebody is trying to stifle that bit of information also, I mean, there is no reasonable basis to do so. A lot of people, majority of the ladies on the panel, including Muslim ladies, have accepted that this is not a right practice and it needs to go. It's a positive development, right? But then there are certain conservative people who would try to justify anything within Islam. And this is precisely the reason we had this topic, that the women voices in Islam
Why
do
you are
not carry
removing
much weight.
person here? Andolji, you are
Remove him
doing
again.
unfavor.
Remove him again.
You are
Remove him again, please. Yeah, one of the mods, please remove him. And next time, if he speaks, remove him from the room itself. So FGM is settled. We move on to the next topic. I think nobody spoke on that topic. First cousin marriage. Puniji is the only one who spoke on that topic. Is the safety of girl child within the household environment. So anybody who
So
would like
shall I
to
not
speak
give
on
the
that?
reference?
FGM is
My
over.
Okay,
Not
okay.
right now. Not right now. You can send it
Oh.
at the back channel to me when the FGM discussion comes
No,
back again.
Andolan ji, I
Nobody is
want to
going to
make a
read
comment.
it.
मैं इसके
Nobody
बाद
is going to
बोलूंगा.
read it. But the only thing is, some Muslims have said I don't have reference. So just because of that,
Okay,
there are
so
only
quote it.
5 references.
So quote it.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't even matter now because I think Shaji has been kicked out of the room. So there is no point, I guess. You can quote as many as.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
there
know who
is.
did that, but
He has
that
not
was
been
not
kicked out of the
nice.
room.
No,
Sorry, no, he's not been kicked out of
he
the room.
has been kicked out. I mean, obviously it
No,
was
he
the
is in the
mods.
audience. He is in the
I
He's in
can't
the
audience.
see
audience.
him.
Okay.
I
No,
can't
he
see.
is not. If you
Yeah, that's
refresh,
what
you
even I
Yeah,
will
can't see.
know.
doesn't matter. I will just quote the reference
Okay, so
and I will
okay,
be done away with.
okay, fair enough,
No problem.
fair enough,
I won't take
fair
because
enough,
I've got other
fair
things to
enough.
do. Sorry.
Go ahead, go
So
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
everything I am reading is a Sahih hadith. Now, as you know, as all of you know, so the hadiths are classified into Sahih, Hassan, and Daif. Daif is not dependable, but Sahih is the most dependable, and I mean as well as the Hassan thing. Now, certain Muslim friends, because there are hundreds of embarrassing facts of the Prophet, they say that even Sahih hadiths are daif. I mean, nobody can make Sahih Bukhari and Muslim hadiths as not dependable. The references are Sunan Abu Dawud 5271, Sahih Muslim 349, Jamidi Tirmidhi 108, and then Sunan Ibn Majah book number 1 and hadith number 342. All these 4 hadiths clearly state that female genital mutilation is a part of Islam. Thank you.
And my small request, Ellen Card, if you can, take a bit of pain to type it in the chat also, all the 4 references. Right? So East, you
हाँ जी
want to say
मैं
something? Yeah, Puniji, sorry, yeah, Puniji, over to
नहीं
you.
मैं एक बार मैं ये शाजी भी थे ना लाइक आई जस्ट वांट टू से कि अदर डे वी वर ये डिस्कशन हो रही थी कि लाइक यू नो लाइक देयर द डिफरेंस बिटवीन लाइक इनकम एंड क्रिमिनलिटी व्हिच इज ह्यूज like Indians are the lowest in crimes and highest in like education and money and like Pakistanis have like highest in, like very high in crime very low in education तो ये शाजी आके कहते हैं जी मैं पता नहीं वो किसके डिपार्टमेंट में काम करता हूँ और तुम कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते
गांडू
कि वो ऐसी ऐसी बातें करते हैं और वो पता नहीं मैं तो ये कह रहा हूँ जो ये आलंगाट कह रहा है ना मैं नहीं जानता बट मैं $50 लगाने को तैयार हूँ कि शाजी ने जो बात कही है वो 100% झूठ की है और ये जो आलन गार्ड कह रहा है ये सच कह रहा है मैं भाई इनसे पछता चुका हूँ ये ऐसे ऐसे आर्ग्यूमेंट देते हैं फॉर हिज आर्ग्यूमेंट वाज कि पाकिस्तानियों की पॉपुलेशन पता नहीं कोई 250,000 ऐसे कुछ है और इंडियन की 400,000 है तो आप कंपेयर ही नहीं कर सकते इनकम तो भाई जू की कैसे कंपेयर कर लोगे तो क्रिश्चियन की कैसे कंपेयर कर लोगे यू नो दे जस्ट हैव नो ब्रेन्स और ये ऐसी ऐसी आके बातें करते हैं मतलब आई रियली थिंक यू नो लाइक दे हैव नो आइडिया व्हाट इज क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग कि सोचना कैसे है आर्ग्यूमेंट कैसे करना है तो जो इनका मौलवी बोलता है या इनको जो वो कहते हैं वो यहाँ पे बड़बड़ करते हैं आई रियली थिंक द मेन प्रॉब्लम इज दे आर एब्सेंट ऑफ क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग
Yeah, so not only critical thinking, a lot of time I also see a bit of propaganda, because if somebody is talking to force his point through,
mothership
despite of who is abusing, can we move him down?
Yeah, I'll do that once again. I'm trying to figure out yours.
Right, right
Andolanji,
from the Yash.
just 10 seconds, a few words of advice for Shajay. क्या होता है when
He's
you
not
are
there
in
in
a
the
room?
room. He's not there in the room.
नहीं मतलब वो अभी नीचे
सर
है
मैंने
मैं
डाल
उसको
दिया है
मैसेज
रेफरेंस पूरा डाल दिया है सर मैं जा रहा हूँ थैंक यू सो मच
नहीं
Thank you,
शाहजे
Alanka.
you
आप
don't
रुकिए.
start bullying यार
नहीं, Shaj
लोगों
is
को
not in the
लगेगा कि
room. Amit, Shaj is not in the room.
ओके मुझे लगा उसकी
Oh,
कोई
हाँ, Shaj.
मतलब फिजिकल इमरजेंसी आ गई उसकी कोई मार रहा है बहुत पिटाई हो रही है उसकी
नहीं, let's not use this terms.
Mods, the guy
हाँ,
who was abusing is with that Arabic display name. Have him thrown
okay.
out.
So I'll have him thrown out. So I don't know why this kind of abuses only comes from such handles.
Of course, Andalanji, because we're talking
So
about uncomfortable
See,
things, right? We're exposing them, or we're talking about things, so it definitely comes from them. Anything to derail the conversation. So,
शुभम तिवारी आए हैं शुभम तिवारी
अब भाई देखिए अगर आप लोग कोई बीच बीच में बोलेंगे तो वो फिर ये टॉपिक ये मतलब वाला रूम नहीं है सीरियस डिस्कशन का रूम है अच्छा रूम
correct.
रिकॉर्डेड भी हो रहा है तो लेट्स कीप दैट सैनिटी इन प्लेस and let the mod handle it. Thank you. हाँ सॉरी नित्या जी, आप कुछ कह रहे थे।
So yeah, no, हाँ कोई आता है तो कोई बात नहीं, आए दे मोस्ट वेलकम, जिन्हें ऊपर आना है वो हैंड रेज कर लेंगे या मॉड्स बुला लेंगे. Very don't keep on interrupting. So now we like Andolan ji said, I think there are so many topics here. अगर हम एक में हर बात में 1 घंटा लगाएंगे तो then we'll be sitting here for the next 10 hours or maybe 100 hours. We should probably wrap up things quicker, and let's just set one premise right. And very correctly said by Andolan ji again, let's set the premise right. We are not going into the theology and going into line by line, verse by verse, and this set a belief, that set a belief, 72 fikres and this and that. You're not going there. The simple fact is, this is a practice, and practice being practiced only in one particular religion, which is Islam. And is it basically right or not right? That's all that we're discussing, not how many of them are practicing. So let's just stick to that premise. Regarding the second topic of first cousin marriages, yes, I mean analogical question, but specific tha, how safe is it for the girl children in the atmosphere? So
Yeah,
if,
I would
if you
like to
just
say
yeah.
कि I had a मैं ढूंढ रही थी when I was you people were talking, I was going back and searching a tweet that I had made some time ago, जिसमें पाकिस्तान की एक social worker was on the TV channel, and she was saying that 90% रेप जो होते हैं लड़कियों के वो फैमिली के अंदर होते हैं और लड़कियां प्रेग्नेंट हो जाती हैं. एंड शी वाज सेइंग इट्स नॉट माय कंडेम, एंड आई नो इफ आई वांट टू फाइंड आई विल फाइंड आउट दैट ट्वीट समवेयर.
I have
I will
seen
ask.
that program.
Okay,
Yes.
so she was saying that most of the rapes जो होते हैं वो फैमिली के अंदर होते हैं, मामा चाचा ताया भाई इनसे होते हैं, and even father. And when the ladies come with their pregnant daughters, and they say, and the social workers say, why don't you inform the police? They say, नहीं, घर की बात है, घर की रोटी पानी कौन चलाएगा? So they bring their pregnant daughters, and it is not uncommon. और उसने कहा कि 90% रेप्स जो हैं वो फैमिली के अंदर होते हैं. This is a very sad thing. Other than that, it is also marrying the same family. It also reproduces genetically, genetic disordered children. That is another very big problem. So all I have to say right now.
Yeah. Thank you, Vinay. So just quickly, I was just wrapping that point up about the safety ki jo baat ho rahi thi. Yes, I mean, if you look at, there are people immediately who try to come and hit back saying ki crimes happen everywhere in the world. So again, I will repeat, crimes are a one-off thing. Crimes are prosecuted by law. It is not as if in any other culture or any other, geographical position region in India, there are not some perverts and criminals who would act like this, but those are one of. The problem we are discussing here is when something is endorsed systemically. If you have a systemic endorsement of an act which cannot be called out wrong because your particular religion or the scriptures or the thekedars of the religion, the maulanas, they all endorse it. So when that's a problem that you can't call it off. Other than that, on a very individual level, in a democratic, secular, whatever quote unquote society, which is not run by a book, there if you commit a crime, then you commit a crime and you get punished. Iska matlab ye nahi ki no other place a girl child is not raped within the house. But this is prevalent and this is systemic, and the problem is बचपन से अगर आप एक ही घर में रह रहे हो and you're like Andolan say the joint family system, everything, if it is okay to eye your first cousin sexually, then how unhealthy and disgusting that atmosphere is. Where we are brought up, it is not okay to eye your cousins in that way. They are called brothers and sisters. No matter they are your chacha's sons or bua's sons and brothers, whatever, but they are called brothers and sisters. You are not taught to eye them in that way. It is not an acceptable practice. You're not looking everywhere around of brothers and sisters being married around you, so that's okay. So that is very unsafe when it is endorsed in a systemic manner.
एक्चुअली लाइक इफ आई कैन ऐड अ पॉइंट, ये जो असल में जो ये है ना, ये अरबिक सिस्टम था कि इट लाइक ट्राइबल मुआशरा है, एंड लाइक यू डोंट हैव, सो लाइक टू क्रिएट द वेल्थ, और बिकॉज जो कोई भी जहाँ पे एग्रीकल्चर हो ना और सिटी ड्वेलिंग हो, ये तो वहाँ पे कभी होता ही नहीं. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन जाट्स, दे आर द एग्रीकल्चर कम्युनिटी एंड एवरीबडी हैज इट. सो यू कैन मैरी फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन योर जाट बट नेवर इन योर गोत्र. तो मतलब जैसे जो तुम्हारे बाप का लास्ट नेम है और जो तुम्हारी माँ का लास्ट नेम है उसमें तुम शादी नहीं करते। एंड देयर लॉजिक वाज समथिंग एक्चुअली सिंपलर बट इट वाज मच मोर साइंटिफिक, कि जैसे अगर आप एक खेत में एक कोई सब्जी उगाते हो और वही उगाते रहो तो वो जमीन बंजर हो जाएगी, तो उसके बाद उसकी दूसरी फसल डालो। एंड दैट्स व्हाई यू नो दिस खाप पंचायत दे वुड इवन यू नो लाइक इन द नेम ऑफ ऑनर किलिंग, कि अगर किसी ने एक गांव में शादी कर ली तो ऐसे कर देते थे, बट दैट वाज देयर लॉजिक। तो ये तो हमारे कोई, बिकॉज वी हैव बीन एन एग्रीकल्चर सोसाइटी, इसका कोई बेसिस ही नहीं था। एक्चुअली इट इज नॉट जस्ट, इट्स सो एंटी साइंटिफिक एंड यू नो सो डिस्ट्रक्टिव। I don't know any agricultural community or any evolved community had something like this, that you start marrying your first cousins.
So, I again, if you see the broader arrangement of this religion, starting with FGM and then entering into young girl's life, where she can't move around freely within her own household because, her first cousins would be, sexually attracted towards her, and, would again tinker with expression of, grooming of her sexuality in a normal way. And this is precisely the reason when we call out that Islam is, as a practice, is interfering with the sexuality of a woman as soon as she takes birth. We briefly discussed about FGM. We briefly discussed about how uncomfortable a girl child is within the confines of the safest place, which is considered to be the home. Even there, she's not safe. She is have she there are predators within the household who would look her in an unsafe way, again interfering with the sexuality of her, being entering into a womanhood. Let us now go ahead and talk about marriages within Islam.
आंदोलन जी, मैं
Anuji
एक
or
बात बस
somebody.
कहना एक बात कहना चाहूंगा अभी, लाइक इट्स अ पिटी वो शीन चले गए। एक पॉइंट मैं क्लियर कर देता हूँ, बिकॉज दे यू नो यूजली लाइक ब्रिंग अबाउट दिस एक्सक्यूज। जैसे वो कह रहे थे ये आप एक स्पेसिफिक कम्युनिटी पे करो, ऐसे मत करो। देखिए, आई एम अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ स्टेटिस्टिक्स एंड सोशल साइंस। आप कोई भी प्रॉब्लम देखते हैं ना, तो उसको रेजोल्यूशन में तो देखेंगे ही देखेंगे। जो ये था, जो यूके में इंडियन है और जो पाकिस्तानी है, वो सेम टाइम आए, सेम मोहल्लों में रह गए, सेम स्कूलों में गए, सेम टाइप की उन्होंने जॉब की, मतलब ये जो एयरपोर्टों पे और ये फैक्ट्रियों में इन्होंने काम किया, सेम जगह ये गए नॉर्थ ऑफ इंग्लैंड में, तो बाकी सारा सेम था। ऐसे तो भाई सिखों के अंदर कितनी कम्युनिटी है, कोई रामगढ़िया है, कोई जाट है, कोई खत्री है, कोई माझे से है, कोई मालवे से है। डाइवर्सिटी तो हर जगह है भाई। बट आप ये देखो कि एक कम्युनिटी मोरलेस इक्वल है, कि ये नेशनल इक्वलिटी प्रोग्राम है यूके का। तो उन्होंने बताया कि जो मुस्लिम ये पाकिस्तानी है, इनकी एवरेज हाउस होल्ड इनकम है अबाउट 80,000, और जो सिखों की है ये सेम टाइम पे है, उनकी ये उससे 5.5 गुना ज्यादा, 3,40,000 पाउंड करके। तो मैं ये बात कह रहा था, अब जैसे और ये इन्होंने बात की ना कई बार, यू हैव टू लुक एट द राइट रेजोल्यूशन वेयर द प्रॉब्लम इज। तो आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल। एक जैसे अभी आपने उसकी बात नहीं छेड़ी, एक पेडरास्टी भी होती है। पेडरास्टी में क्या होता है, एक नाबालिग बच्चे के साथ सेक्स करना। और ये जो पश्तून कल्चर है ना अफगान का, पठानों में इसको बच्चाबाजी कहते हैं, ये बिल्कुल एक्सेप्टेड प्रैक्टिस है। जैसे आप ये पाकिस्तान में भी ये जो ट्रक चलाते हैं ना ये पठान, यहाँ पे ये बिल्कुल माना जाता है कि हाँ उसने एक साथ में बच्चा रखा होता है जो उसकी शीशे साफ करता है, और जो उसकी जरूरत है मतलब वो उसको भूख को पूरा करता है, क्योंकि वहां पे औरतों से कोई इंटरेक्शन है नहीं, तो मतलब वहां पे क्या जाए, तो वो बच्चों से अपनी ये जिस्म की भूख पूरा करते हैं। और देयर इज अ ग्रेट डॉक्यूमेंट्री इज कॉल्ड पाकिस्तान हिडन शेम, और उसके अंदर सारे जो पाकिस्तान हिडन शेम, मैं अभी उसको डाल दूंगा। और उस टाइम जब ये निकली थी, आज से आई डोंट नो लॉन्ग टाइम अगो, सारे पाकिस्तानी पॉलिटिशियंस ने भी एग्री किया, इंक्लूडिंग इमरान खान, कि हमें शर्म आती है, बट ये तो बात बिल्कुल सच्ची है कि जो पश्तून है और वो दिखाते हैं, जो छोटे छोटे बच्चे होते हैं ना जो इनके ट्रक में चलाते हैं, इनके शीशा साफ करने वाले, वो फिर जैसे इनके हॉस्टल बने होते हैं वहां पे, वो फिर मतलब जैसे 14 साल
हाँ,
का
पर
बच्चा
पुनीत
होगा।
भाई,
हाँ जी,
हाँ, वाली डॉक्यूमेंट्री डाल देंगे, पर आज का टॉपिक जो है वो वुमेन इन इस्लाम पे है, तो हम लोग थोड़ा सा
हाँ जी,
वापस उस
आई
पे
एम
आ
सॉरी,
जाते
मैं
हैं,
डॉक्यूमेंट्री
इफ यू
नीचे
डोंट
डाल।
माइंड। हाँ, 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 आप
अच्छा मैंने
वो
ये
चैट पे डाल दीजिए, ऊपर
ऊपर
लगा दूंगा।
अच्छा मैंने ये ऊपर ये मिनी मैम जो आप बोल रही थी ना, वो 82% था, 90 नहीं। वो मैंने ऊपर लगा दिया, इसमें वो ट्वीट भी है और वो प्रोग्राम भी है जिसमें वो जो फीमेल डॉक्टर हैं वो क्लेम करती हैं कि उनके पास जितने लोग आते हैं 82% एंड समहाउ इवन समटाइम इवन दी जिनकी बेटियां रेप विक्टिम होती हैं उनकी माएँ डिनाइड कर देती हैं कि यू नो व्हाट, माय हस्बैंड तो बहुत अच्छा आदमी, वैसा करते ही नहीं, तो दे लिटरली डिनाई इट। एंड समटाइम आई फील कि दे डोंट केयर सो मच। मे बी उनके साथ भी यही हुआ है शायद इस वजह से, क्योंकि एक स्पॉटलाइट मूवी मैंने देखी थी तो उसमें लगा था, उसे देख के मुझे ये लगा था अगर आप खुद भी एक विक्टिम रेप विक्टिम या सेक्सुअल अब्यूज सर्वाइवर रहे हो और कभी उसे शेयर नहीं कर पाए हो एंड दैट हैज बिकम पार्ट ऑफ योर जीन, पार्ट ऑफ योर बिहेवियर, then you do not know कि the behavior you if you are doing it to somebody else it is wrong. तो ये भी मुझे लगता है ये भी प्रेवलेंट हो सकता है कि अगर उनकी माओ के साथ भी यही हुआ है तो अगर उनकी बेटियों के साथ हो रहा है तो दे कंसिडर इट अ नॉर्मल, दे आर लाइक क्या कर सकते हैं, चलो हो गया। तो कि इसमें जिस तरह से वो डॉक्टर बता रही हैं इस लिंक जो मैंने ऊपर शेयर किया उससे यही लगता है। तो आप लोग हो जाएंगे, देन आई विल ऐड सम अदर लिंक एज वेल।
So we were coming to the topic of marriage of a woman within Islamic society. और आप यहाँ पे आके देखिए ये जो पूरा अभी बचपन से जो एक वुमेन की सेक्सुअलिटी के साथ प्ले करा जा रहा है इस्लाम के द्वारा, वो यहाँ पे आके कंसोलिडेट करा जा रहा है और उसको वैलिडेशन दी जा रही है दैट शी इज जस्ट एन ऑब्जेक्ट. A woman has to put a price tag on her, and I think if I can probably take views from others, we all understand what does nikah means, right? So SM Atharviji, Nitya ji, M Puneet, anybody else from the forum, Bella ji, would like to share some thoughts on the Islamic marriage practice where a woman is putting price tag on her for a contract of sexual intercourse. So Nitya ji.
Sure. I'll make it brief. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. So as a woman, we all of us, don't have to even explain to each other what it is. And as men, आप just imagine your sisters and your mothers and whatever, going through this. आप शादी शुरू करते हैं और शुरू ही आप इस बात से करते हैं कि ये अगर मैंने तुमको छोड़ दिया तो मैं तुम्हें इतने पैसे दूंगा। तो इमीडिएटली आपने एक वर्थ, एक वैल्यू, एक नंबर डाल दिया है। सो आप शादी नहीं कर रहे हैं, आप लिटरली खरीद रहे हैं। दैट्स द ओनली एक्सप्लेनेशन ऑफ इट, क्योंकि इसमें पायस तो कोई चीज है ही नहीं। Okay, so this is not about, you can't equate it to your prenup and stuff like that, which is more to stop the exploitation of by the one spouse of the other spouse's wealth कि divorce में, क्योंकि you have rights in the divorce in the western culture, western construct में वो rights होते हैं कि post marriage whatever wealth is acquired उसमें दोनों का हक होता है। तो उसमें जब अलग होंगे तो they will, so obviously a lot of people end up in a very advantageous position, so उसको सेव करने के लिए that is done that. But यहाँ पे क्या होता है, यहाँ पे आप शादी 100% शादियां आप कर ही इस बात से रहे हो कि तुम्हारा ये प्राइस है, और अगर मैं तुमको एक दिन के बाद छोड़ता हूँ या 10 दिन के बाद छोड़ता हूँ, 10 साल के बाद छोड़ता हूँ, आई हैव टू हैव नो रीजन, मुझे तुम्हें कोई राइट नहीं देना, कुछ नहीं देना है, ये जो पैसे मैंने बोले थे वो दे देने हैं। एंड सो ऑब्वियसली आप खरीद रहे हो। आई डोंट लुक एट इट एज एनी अदर वे। इसमें कोई मंत्रों का, कोई पायसनेस, कोई कुछ भी नहीं है। ये है कि ये तुम्हारा वर्थ है, ये 5 रुपए हो, 5,000 हो, 5 लाख हो, 5 करोड़ हो, जो भी हो, दिस इज द हक मेहर, और तुमको मैंने कल सुबह छोड़ दिया अगर, या किसी टाइम छोड़ दिया, तो ये पैसे तुम्हें देने पड़ेंगे। सो हाउ इज दैट एनी वे डिग्निफाइड?
So, which is how these girls are groomed within the Islamic society, starting from day one, as we discussed, early part of life till, teenage, and then now finally when they're entering into the, that's not even contract of marriage. So, lot of people, जैसे हम लोग जो और faith के हैं, जैसे हिंदू faith के हो गए, बुद्धिस्ट, सिख्स, हमारे यहाँ मैरिज एक covenant है, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं। तो इसीलिए जब भी हम मैरिज की बात करते हैं, हमको लगता है कि ये उसी तरीके का पाक साफ रिश्ता इस्टेब्लिश करा जा रहा है और धर्मों में। लेकिन यहाँ पे एक महत्वपूर्ण डिस्कशन ये है कि वहां पे खासकर इस्लाम में मैरिज को कॉवेनेंट नहीं, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट माना जाता है, और ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जो है वो सेक्सुअल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है। एंड इस्लाम में इसके लिए महिलाएं अपने ऊपर पैसे लगाती हैं, लोग वो क्या कहते हैं, मेहर के फॉर्म में, वेयर दे पुट अ प्राइस टैग ऑन दिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कि भाई ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फॉर सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स जो है उसके लिए मैं 1 लाख, 10 लाख, 15 लाख लगा रही हूँ अपने ऊपर, एंड द सूटर पेज दैट अमाउंट एंड एग्जीक्यूट दिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट So this is how, I'm, telling you from day one, girl child, dealing with her sexuality. This is the pinnacle of how she has to deal with her sexuality. और ये इसकी थोड़ा आपको समझना पड़ेगा. Marriage in Islam and marriage in Hinduism. A lot of people who are sitting on this panel are coming from dharmic ecosystem, so they do not understand this difference, but it is important to know about it. Let us also go to a few other people who have come on the panel. Rosie ji, and other who else would like to speak, please flash his mic or her mic.
भाई मुझे तो
ऊपर
True Islam, yeah, will come to you.
ऊपर मैंने एक
So
और
Rosie ji,
लिंक लगाया हुआ है आंदोलन जी, विच इज अबाउट ब्राइड्स ऑफ कुरान, जिसमें ये अगर लड़की को अगर उसके माँ बाप को लगता है कि उसके लायक कोई लड़का नहीं मिला, लायक इन द सेंस बिकॉज दे डू नॉट वांट टू गिव अवे द डॉटर, दे वांट टू कीप द डॉटर विद इन द फैमिली, ताकि इनहेरिटेंस ताकि पैसा ना खर्च करना पड़े, पैसा ना जाए, तो उस केस में दे विल मैरी द ब्राइड टू द बुक इटसेल्फ, and after that the girl will remain in the household. She would be domestically abused and also sometimes also sexually abused as well. So this is also one of the phenomena I observed. I was very I was like, wow, this was very shocking for me. और इंडिया में तो मेहर के अलावा हलाला भी चलता है, तो वो भी प्रॉब्लमेटिक है. एंड
हलाला और डाइवोर्स पे आएंगे हम लोग. आखिरी में
मुद्दा ने कहा तो शायद आपने सुना ही होगा, जो हैदराबाद में उसके ऊपर डॉक्यूमेंट्री भी है, जिसमें शेख और वेरी रिच पर्सन वुड कम एंड मैरी द 16-year-old old girl or 15 or even 13-year-old girl, Muslim girl, and then for 2 days or 3 days and sometime even just for few hours also, and then pronounce divorce to her and give her money in exchange. So it's like a prostitution but legalized in the name sugar, or let's say sugar coated by calling it a nikah. तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट टूट गया निकाह जैसे, तो मतलब शादी भी टूट गई. तो ये बहुत इसका तो अच्छा खासा एक नहीं कई डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज मैंने बहुत पहले देखी थी, और उसमें जब वो, क्योंकि कई बार तो ऐसा भी होता था कि आदमी जो है 70 साल का है, 80 साल का है, 60 का है, 55 का है, 50 का है और थोड़ा अमीर
सोर्स
है.
दो, हवा में बात मत करो.
नहीं, ट्रू इस्लाम आई कैन लिंक
इस्लाम बीच में ना
डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज,
इंटरफेयर करिए, आपके पास आ जाएंगे.
I can link
2 मिनट शांत
documentaries
रहिए.
too. So it is it was a wide discussion. यहाँ पे कोई भी आप खुद चाहे तो सर्च कर सकते हैं. तो इंडिया में होता था ये, मैं कहीं और की बात नहीं करूँ, आई थिंक अभी भी होता ही होगा. ये हैदराबाद में और केरला में बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेवलेंट है. और ये भी होता था कि अगर उस लड़की को 1 या 2 दिन बाद, एक कई बार तो they would go on honeymoon as well for, and they will not go outside, they'll be just in the room, and the girl would be crying and she would be, and then she would be divorced and her family will blame him for the divorce. They would think that she would not have either satisfied or either have curated to his needs, or let's say would have said him bad things, because the woman will say कि तुम्हारी बच्ची ने कुछ बुरा किया है इसलिए छोड़ दिया उसको. But I thought this was maybe because I think Indian Muslims are not very nice people. They are very very backward and very मतलब बहुत ही गंदी गंदी प्रैक्टिसेस है. मुझे लगता है शायद ये इंडियन मुस्लिम्स में ही होता होगा, बट ऊपर जो लिंक लगाया है वो ब्राइड्स ऑफ कुरान, दैट इज फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान. And there are movies and documentaries that this is also practiced in African countries as well, even in Arabic countries, where a girl of a very young age, 16, 13, would be married off to somebody who is very older, and after having fun with her for 1 week, 2 week, or even 1 days, she would be divorced, and in exchange of some money the parents would be silenced. This is very prevalent
So
phenomena. This is not
so
just
one
India.
so just an offshoot of this, Tarviji, is the legitimizing of rape culture in Pakistan. So I have read multiple articles on this. What happens in Pakistan if a man goes ahead and rapes a girl? Typically what they do is they, pick up young girls from either Shia community or Hindus or Christians or Sikhs. These kind of people, they will rape her, and then the Maulana would ask this girl to convert and marry this guy for 50,000 meher or 100,000 meher. We know how much is Pakistani value of Pakistani rupee, right? And what these guys will do, they will get a license to rape this girl even more. And after a while, 4 months, since men are allowed to, marry 4 women in Islam, these people will go ahead and, they will legitimize this rape by forcing this woman to marry, forcing this girl to marry this rapist. And what this rapist will do, he will continue to rape her for a few more months, pay her the mere amount of 50,000 Pakistani rupee or 100,000 Pakistani rupee and divorce her. So this is, how this is also used to legitimize rape in Islamic society. Yeah, True Islam, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
देखो, मैं जानता हूँ, जहाँ तक मैंने पढ़ा है, ये अथर्वी जी ने जो भी कुछ बोला, मैंने तो आज तक देखा नहीं और ना ही इसने सोर्स दिया, ठीक?
अब मैं
और
आपको सोर्स दे देती हूँ जी,
ठीक है, मुझे मेरी बात कंप्लीट होने दो। एक हिंदुओं में होता है नियोग, नियोग होता है जैसे
अच्छा,
आप
ट्रू
अगर
इस्लाम, यहाँ पे टॉपिक क्या है आपने देखा? टॉपिक पढ़िए जरा।
Top reasons women have to leave Islam. That's the topic. Stick to it.
Don't
Understand?
indulge in whataboutery, please. And
Yeah.
don't give us half-baked knowledge about things you don't know.
मेरे back में, crap laga hai. I'm not going to clean that crap, but I'm going to show somebody else's crap. But you still have crap on your ass. Clean it up.
आंदोलन
जी तनिष। हाँ, सो एक बार रोजी मैम अपना पॉइंट रख ले, फिर डैनिश पे आते हैं। So Rosie ma'am,
You don't have to go, yeah. You don't have to go any further. Just look at how Hindu women are treated in their household. I can give you my example.
Muslim women,
My
I think
dad is
only.
85 years old. He lives with me. Time to time, I'll put like a kheer or something for him. He gets so overwhelmed, and he's wants to touch my feet. Tu Lakshmi hai, tu Devi hai. And I was like, oh my God, father, just stop this. What is going on? Same thing with my brother. When he calls me, I mean, the amount of respect I get from my husband, from my family. I'm sort of the matriarch of the family. Any decision when even I was 8 years old, I swear to God, the little my father and mother used to ask me, "Kaise karna hai ye? Kya kare?" I mean, it's like no decision is taken without sort of me, and I'm not anything great or anything. I'm just a simple, girl from Kashmir. But the amount of respect that my grandmother got and my mother got, and is just overwhelming. And you see the other side. You see your Muslim colleagues, your Muslim friends, how their women are. It's really gut wrenching. It's not fair to them. Stand up for them. They need to be what freedom we enjoy, we Hindu women. I'll tell you one story and I will stop. I had a Kashmiri Muslim, so हम लोग एक ही उधर के हैं, कश्मीर से हैं, ठीक है? I had a Kashmiri Muslim colleague in New York City one time. My parents came. Okay, his parents came. So my parents came to Khub Ghumaya. Actually, we went up to the Twin Towers. I have pictures from the Twin Towers. The top of the roof was open that day. So we have pictures. So this auntie, my colleagues, Kashmiri Muslim colleagues auntie, she's very sad. I go out for a little walk or something. We lived on campus. And her face is very sad and all of that. So मैंने कहा नमस्ते आंटी, क्या हाल है? बोला बहुत दिल दुख रहा है। मैंने कहा बोले कश्मीर की याद आ रही है, नहीं इधर मन नहीं कर रहा रहने का। तो मैंने कहा क्या हुआ, आप घूमने कहीं गए? बोला नहीं, मेरे को ले ही नहीं गए। I was really upset. So I was like, okay, आप हमारे साथ चलिए। तो बोला ठीक है, या चलेंगे आप? बोला हाँ ठीक है, मैं अपने बेटे से पूछ लूं। मैंने कहा बेटे से क्या पूछना है, आपका मन है चलो। तो मैं मम्मी के पास गई, मैंने बोला मम्मी इनको लेके चले, बिकॉज पेरेंट्स आए में उन दिनों I used to ask everything for my parents. I was very young. So she said of course, आंटी को लेके चले और उनको कल घुमा देते, पूरे मैनहट्टन में घुमाते। तो आंटी को लेके घुमाए and everything, and she was so happy, and she had tears in her eyes. She did not say anything, but I could tell. And she said, मेरी बेटी नहीं है, लेकिन आज मुझे पता चला बेटी क्या होती है। उन्होंने ऐसे बोला। तो ये डिफरेंस है। मैं ऐसे कहीं मैं आपको किससे बता सकती हूँ, बट इट इज जस्ट रियली रियली हॉरिबल फॉर मुस्लिम वुमेन, and we should fight for them as Sanatanis. We should fight for the justice for Muslim women that is being done, at least in the Indian subcontinent. तो fight ही कर सकते हैं. Recently in Texas, a father was finally caught and put in jail because he has beheaded and killed his two daughters few years ago. Why? Because the daughters were dating white women. ये मैंने tweet भी किया है और आपको pin करके लगा सकती हूँ. Recently, there were two Saudi sisters. They ran away from their homes because there was so much trauma. Details are not known. They were living in Australia. They were killed. So they are not even safe when they go to Western countries. There have been so many honor killings in United Kingdom, in United States. Usually this is hidden by left-in media, but this you can Google it. Texas father killed his two daughters. Imagine. मेरे को कोई खरोच आ जाती है ना, मेरे पापा रोने लगते हैं.
You will
And I'm
get
not that little.
tons of
Father is
documentaries
85.
on honor killing in England, in Muslim community.
अच्छा, हाँ,
Yeah.
इसमें मिनी मैम एक चीज बस
like
मैं ऐड कर दूं.
मेरे को एक खरोच भी
हाँ,
आती है,
एक 10
मेरे
सेकेंड
पापा
रोजी
का
मैम.
दिल मचल जाता है. This is the
हाँ, रोजी
freedom, this
मैम.
is the love that Muslim women deserve, and we should fight for them. Thank you.
Right. So what Rosie ma'am raised a point. Somebody would, say that this is, a crime which happens in every society. But then there are host of example coming. Are Muslim women allowed to marry outside the religion? It is written in the scriptures they are not, and hence this kind of honor killing is systemic. It's not just a single one-off incidents. So again, what the point Nitya ji was making earlier, that in Islamic society, the woman is seen as a property of either the father or the brother or the husband or the son. She doesn't has a individual, right to express herself. Starting from a young age, where her genitals are mutilated, she's not given a safe environment within the family or home confines, to marriages where she's sold off to the highest bidder, to what the examples Rosie ji just said. The issue is systemic, which is emanating from the religion. So the religion disallows Muslim women to marry anybody outside Islam, and hence she is a fair game for honor killing in case she dates a white man or a Hindu man or a Christian man or a Jew man. And that is the problem we are highlighting. We'll go to Danish. Danish wanted to say something earlier. Danish, over to you.
Andolan
Yeah.
ji, I have pinned the just 1 minute, Danish, please. Sorry, I have pinned the link above. ये तो इसके ऊपर एक्चुअली
ये
बहुत
मुठा निका वाला.
सालों पहले मैंने हाँ, तो ये अभी भी चलता ही है, अभी भी थोड़ा और मतलब रेड करना पड़ता है पुलिस को बार-बार टू एक्चुअली फाइंड आउट
मुता
बिकॉज़
सिया लोग में
ही
होता है, सिया लोग में मुता
तो
होता है.
वो भी तो मुस्लिम है ना, ट्रू? वो मुस्लिम नहीं है क्या? केरला में भी होता है। अब केरला का मुझे नहीं पता कि शिया करते हैं कि सुन्नी करते हैं, कि
तो
केरला
मुठा
में
निका, so
तो
अथर्वी, जस्ट टू क्लैरिफाई, ये जो ट्रू इस्लाम है, ये मुस्लिम्स के साथ यही एक है कि वो आके डिविएट करने की कोशिश करते हैं कि ये शिया मुस्लिम्स में होता है मुठा निका. तो निका मैसर किस में होता है भाई? वो भी तो ये होता है शॉर्ट टर्म कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड मैरिज इन सुन्नीस.
सिया में होता है भाई. मैं
नहीं,
सुन्नी
निका
हूँ भाई.
मैसर शिया में होता है कि सुन्नी में होता है? ट्रू
क्या सुनाई नहीं दिया.
शॉर्ट टर्म कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मैरिज इन सुन्नी गूगल करके आओ, फिर बात करना. अगर कुछ ज्ञान नहीं है तो फिर जबरदस्ती माइक खोल के कंफ्यूजन ना करो. दनीश जी, ओवर टू यू.
Okay. So see, this we all know how their rights has been breached on daily basis. And the sad part of the story is in Afghanistan we see things they are not even allowed to have education. But I will keep my point on the topic later. But I just want to understand the perspective you have started this room. Like the title is "Females Are Leaving Islam." So can you give me a perspective, because I didn't see females like you said in अभी जो आप बात कर रहे थे कि generally हम देखते हैं कि जो हमारी हिंदू सोसाइटी है, तो वी सीन अ लॉट ऑफ इंटर-रिलीजन मैरिजेस, particularly with the Muslims. As compared to that, we don't see कि even they have been victimized and stuff, so they are not getting out of that, and they're not getting married in, in inter-religion. So when this topic is that Muslim females are leaving Islam, I
हाँ, द
just
टॉपिक
wanted
इज,
to
हाँ
understand.
दानिश जी, हाँ
Yes.
दानिश जी, ये टॉपिक ये नहीं कि मुस्लिम वुमेन्स आर लीविंग इस्लाम. There are of course hundreds of Muslim female who are fed up of this religion and want to leave. The topic is why should Muslim women should not continue with Islam. तो हम लोग
Okay.
वहां पे ये डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं. So this is the discussion is to it's more of an awareness discussion that how Islam is tampering with the expression of sexuality and freedom of women, and what are the reasons the girls or the ladies who have unfortunately been born into an Islamic family have to undergo the trauma of a lifetime. What are the key reasons they should consider within Islam to leave Islam? That's the topic
सबसे
of the discussion.
जो मेरे को लगता है कि अभी जैसे भारत मुस्लिम महिला आंदोलन चला था इंडिया में, दे गोट द सपोर्ट इन इंडिया. अनफॉर्चुनेटली इस तरह की सपोर्ट उनको बाहर कहीं मिल नहीं रही. और दूसरा जो सबसे बड़ा रीज़न है कि जो फीमेल्स जो आना भी चाहती हैं बाहर, जिनके राइट्स डेली बेसिस पे ब्रीच हो रहे हैं, वहाँ टेरराइज बहुत बुरे तरीके से उनको किया जाता है. दे जस्ट बिहेड, they just murder, they don't listen. So they need tremendous amount of courage to seek about, to talk about evils in their own religion, चाहे वो जेंडर इक्वलिटी का हो विद इन द रिलीजन, या प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स हो, या फीमेल्स को अभी भी इंडिया में लो है. आज ही मैं किसी अपने मुस्लिम दोस्त से बात कर रहा था, तो मैंने पूछा क्या बना भी तुम्हारा, सही नहीं चल रहा था तो क्या हुआ. कहता हमारा तो तेरे को पता ही है क्या होना है, हमने तलाक 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 किया और हो गया, खत्म. तो मैंने बोला यार अब तो लो आ गया है. और कहता यार लो आ गया ठीक है, लेकिन अभी भी हमारे तो वही चलता है, को लड़की कहाँ जाएगी, कहाँ बोलेगी. तो सीधे माइंडसेट, दे नो कि वो कहाँ जाएगी, कितना भागेगी. तो वी
So
नीड
the
टू.
only way out, Danishi, is you would agree with me is to leave Islam, to come out of this torture, a lifetime torture, isn't it?
यस, बट उनका भी ब्रेन वॉश इस तरीके से किया गया है कि दे डोंट लिसन. दे नो कि उनके राइट्स जो डेली बेसिस पे इन्फ्रिंज किए जा रहे हैं, उनको पता है उनको राइट्स नहीं मिल रहे. दे नो वेरी वेल कि जो अभी मैडम ने बताया, रोजी मैडम ने, कि हिंदू फैमिली में कितने राइट्स है फीमेल्स को, कैसे कितनी पोजीशंस पे वो हैं, उनको सब पता है, दे नो. लेकिन स्टिल इन स्पाइट ऑफ दैट कि उनका ब्रेन वॉश ऐसे किया, दे आर वेरी फनेटिक टुवर्ड्स देयर रिलीजन, बट दे नीड टू फिगर आउट द वे. सी वन थिंग इज दिस व्हाट यू आर स्पीकिंग, अदर थिंग.
इतना राइट है कि देवर को दूसरा पति कहते हैं, देवर को दूसरा पति, उसके साथ सो सकते हैं.
दूसरा उनको मुझे लगता है आंदोलन जी, एक चीज जो जैसे भारतीय महिला मुस्लिम आंदोलन जो है, जो वो संगठन है, इस तरह के संगठन को पॉलिटिकल और सिविल सपोर्ट की बहुत ज़रूरत है कि इस तरह का जो काउंटर पर्सपेक्टिव रखने वाली जो लाइक माइंडेड फीमेल्स हैं, जो लिबरल फीमेल्स हैं रियल में, वो आगे आए, अपने अधिकारों की मांग करें. उनको एम्पावर करना बहुत ज़रूरी है.
जी दानिशी. तो आगे बढ़ते हैं. सोहेल जी एंड टेस्ला, you have not spoken, and GT, you have not spoken, and also E. These four people have not spoken anything about the topic. So would any of you like to speak? GT, Tesla, E, and Sohail. Yeah, Tesla, go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to speak about FGM, but I think we moved on from that topic, so I don't know if I could make my point or not.
Go ahead, make your point.
Okay, so so somebody was saying that FGM originated from Africa, but that's not true, because if you look at the statistics, that is like 200 million girls go through FGM around the world. That's just the reported statistics, and from 31 countries, and all of these countries are from Middle East, and the countries that were colonized by Middle East, by the invaders. So FGM exists in Africa because of the colonization. This was imposed on Africans. It did not originate from Africa. So so somebody said that it is a practice from Africa. It is not. Africans did not have this practice before. Even today, there are some practices like breast ironing in many tribes, that is to save little girls from invaders. So they started this practice to keep the girls looking young and unattractive. So but then the invaders would still take away girls as young as 7, 8, 10, depends, you know. So FGM is basically done to make women feel not feel any kind of pleasure after marriage. So the men who marry them, mostly the invaders who marry them, can have as many wives as they want, and the girl would never ask him to spend time with her. She would only be reduced to a baby making machine, and every year she would be producing a child, and she would not ask for anything more than that. So so this is how invaders colonized people across the world, like all the tribes, because tribes never practiced these kind of things before these people came and threatened them of taking away their women. So to safeguard their women, they did indulge in these cruel practices, which is very sad. But right now they are practicing it even to this day. Is because of the brainwashing done by the invaders, but it has got nothing to do with the the tribe itself.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a couple of more speakers, but let me check with GT. You want to add anything to the point? Okay.
जी ये तो बोलना ही था कि काफी प्रैक्टिसेस जो आज की डेट पे रिग्रेसिव बताई जाती हैं वो मेनली इन्वेडर्स की वजह से था, जैसे कि जौहर प्रैक्टिस।
हाँ, हम लोग वो थोड़ा सा, हाँ नहीं जीटी, हम लोग थोड़ा सा टॉपिक पे ही रहेंगे। तो आपको टॉपिक पे कुछ ऐड करना है
तो प्लीज कैरी ऑन।
Okay, and there was Tesla. Miss R, Miss Raka, I think you have also not spoken. Okay, Miss Raka, you there? Okay, she's not there. Bella.
हाँ, मैं ये बोलना चाहती हूँ कि मेरी दी की एक क्लासमेट थी, कॉलेज में पढ़ती थी, वो मुस्लिम थी। तो ऐसे ही हम लोग एक बार बात कर रहे थे, मैंने उनसे पूछा कि तलाक 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 3 बार बोलने से आप लोगों में तलाक हो जाता है? तो उसने उसको जस्टिफाई किया और उसने कहा कि नहीं, उसके बाद ना बहुत ही ऐसा मतलब ऐसा होता है कि अगर वापस साथ होना है ना, तो उसके लिए ना फिर मतलब वही किसी के साथ आपको निकाह करके फिर उस रात को उसके साथ रह के और फिर उसके बाद आप वापस ला सकते हो। तो इसका मतलब ये है कि ये तलाक बहुत ही खराब है, ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए, मतलब करो मत ऐसा। तो फिर भी तो मैंने कहा फिर भी तो होता ही है, मतलब उसको ये लोग जस्टिफाई भी करते हैं इस तरह से, मतलब लड़कियां। तो इस ऐसी लड़कियों का क्या किया जाए? मतलब इन लोगों को कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता उससे, उनको
हाँ,
शायद
मतलब हमने तो यहाँ तक देखा है, हलाला को हमने एक बार हलाला पे रूम रखा था, तो there were some Pakistani educated girls who were working, they were justifying halala.
Yes.
And I just couldn't comprehend it. How can somebody justify a evil practice like halala? But let's get more viewpoint. हाँ बेला जी, आप अपना पॉइंट।
हाँ, क्योंकि मतलब शायद उनको शुरू से वो चीज, जैसे कि अथर्वी जी ने भी बोला ना, उनको नॉर्मलाइज हो जाती है वो चीज। जैसे हमने बचपन से देखा अपनी दादी को, माँ को बहुत ज्यादा भक्ति और रोज व्रत, आज ये व्रत है कल वो व्रत है, अभी चलो हनुमान चालीसा का पाठ करते हैं सब लोग मिलके 108, कि तुम्हारे कितने हो गए, मेरे 10 हो गए, मेरे 8। मतलब हम लोगों का ये, तो हम लोग इसी चीज में रहते हैं, और उन लोगों को वो जिस चीज में बचपन से उन्होंने देखा होता है उनको वही सही लगता है। यही इसीलिए शायद उनकी मेंटालिटी ऐसी होती है कि वो लोग गलत चीज़ को भी वो लोग जस्टिफाई करने में लगे रहते हैं।
जी मेरे ख्याल से लॉट ऑफ टाइम इट इज आल्सो इग्नोरेंस, क्योंकि अभी इससे पहले सोशल मीडिया से पहले एजुकेशन और अवेयरनेस की भी बहुत कमी थी, तो अब थोड़ा सा चेंज हो रहा है। लॉट ऑफ वुमेन आर, जैसे आज ही इस रूम में पैनल में एटलीस्ट जितनी भी वुमेन्स थी, बोथ from Islamic society and non-Islamic society, they condemned this horrible practice, and that was a good start. But let us go on to another, set of speakers. Suhail ji, Rabia ji, True Islam तुम्हारे पर बाद में आएंगे. Suhail, would you like to comment something on the topic? Okay, I think Suhail is not around. Rabia, would you like to give some inputs on the topic? Rabia, you're there? Just came
Hi,
up.
yeah, sorry, hi. Yeah, from my personal experience, I've actually left Islam, and it's due to the fact where I've realized that a lot of the times, young girls are often groomed solely for marriage, and I don't know if that's like an Islamic thing or rather a cultural thing. So I don't know if those two intertwine as well.
So primarily if one has to reach a conclusion, 80 to 90% it is Islamic, but yes, is patriarchal system present in other cultures as yes, but not in a oppressive way. It is present in Islam. So to answer your question. But let me also go to, if you want to continue your point, Rabia, or we should move on to another set of speakers. Okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you to repeat yourself. I didn't quite catch that.
So I said primarily we find this kind of oppression predominantly, at least in the modern era, in Islam only. Every other cultures and religion, majority of them, if there were certain oppressive practices, they have gone ahead and got rid of it, barring Islam. So the problem with Islam is that everything emanates from one true book, and it can never be changed. And that's where the other societies, other cultures have evolved. They are a much better paradigm for women, but Islam remains exactly the same when it comes to women, and that is why we are making a case for women leaving Islam. Yeah.
I wanted to give one
The
comment.
case.
If you
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Andolan ji, can I also speak, Andolan
हाँ,
ji?
बस मिनी जी के बाद राबिया जी के बाद मनीष जी.
I was listening to someone who was saying कि अफ्रीका में ये practice जो है वो it was not there because of the invasion. It happened, and I believe that because they wanted to protect their daughters or whatever reason. Because wherever Islam goes, it brings its own ideology, and the life of the woman changes there forever. So, to protect their women, people get into wrong practices. Like we were told, Sati Pratha, which was like not prevalent, but it happened in our society, and we are evolving society. We are working on. We always, leave behind our the traditions that are not. Welcomed, not good for the women or for anyone in the society. So I hope African people also give up and come to the senses that if it came because of the invasion of Islam, then they should think about it, next generation, to not to practice such practices.
Andolan ji, can I also put my point if you're okay with that?
अच्छा बोल लीजिए मनीष जी, then after you we will go to Rabia.
Okay, I want to say a few points here. We do a lot of discussion on these topics, but my mute question is there anything possible to make any changes in Islam? Answer is no, you can't make any changes. And There are many educated people also. There are many wise people in Islam also, but they also know that there's nothing possible to change. And there is another reason also that why it is not possible to change, because the moment uh, even an alphabet is changed from the book, the entire religion will be dismantled. It is not so easy religion. So the kind of practices that it has, uh, uh, if you are allowed to make one change, then it will be sort of a domino effect, and entire thing will change, and which is not
But
possible at all.
Manishi, that's why we have a topic leave Islam, because we cannot change. We don't have a topic. Let's change Islam. We know it is not
No,
possible.
I
So
understand
we
your
are
topic,
saying
and that's I respect the topic. That's the reason. But I'm saying that even living also subjected to the blasphemy, or maybe you are being killed if you leave. So it is also in the book. So making a small change, even an alphabet change, is not possible. So then if it is not possible to make any changes in Islam, then what is the solution? It's very hard actually. The solution is, in my understanding, I might be right or wrong, that you just ignore them. The moment you ignore them, these people will follow only on words, not in practice. The moment they stop doing the practice, go back to the Iran of 70s. They were only following it, but not practicing at that time. Go to the Turkey of 70s and 80s. They were ultra modern at that time. Why? They were still Muslim but modern. What is making a change? The more we discuss about it, more the leadership tend to create atmosphere that people has to go towards Islam. The moment you lose them, or give them uh, uh, give them some space, what they will do, they will only follow on words but not in practice. And changing anything in book is not possible. Only thing is possible is that do not follow it, and keep the society of the world safe for all
um,
the things.
Man-
So only solution is, my humble solution is that there is no outcome of any kind of discussion. So I'm not discouraging you guys, because I'm getting educated when I come to this place, which I was not in the past. But my thing is, how we go forward is, people of Indonesia, they are Islamic, but they don't follow much, and we don't these kind of practices coming out from
But
Indonesia.
Manish, but you
Yeah.
you gave the answer yourself. There was Turkey, there was Syria, who were fairly democratic and modern societies, but they continued to practice Islam. Even Afghanistan in the 70s was a fairly modern society. But what happened? Since they didn't leave Islam, the switch on happened in an instant. And we have seen what Syria has become, what Afghanistan has become, and what Turkey is becoming every day. So
So what what
that's
one
what
so.
did
one
we
thing
what
one
what,
thing
what it will
Manish,
take to? Yeah,
मनीष
yeah.
एक कहना बात कहना चाहती हूँ. You started with the statement कि ignore them. You cannot ignore Islam. That is the one thing you cannot ignore, because love jihad. Can you ignore love jihad? Can you ignore so many things, sneaky things happening? Because their purpose is not only to live, but their other purpose is not to let live. So they don't let another person live. So you have to deal with it if
No,
it
I
is
know.
there.
Manager, I understand the nuances, but if we make our house stronger, probably we can avoid all this thing. But the problem is, how we can we can we bring Iran back to the previous Iran generation? Can we bring Turkey back to the previous generation? Then yeah, it is possible to bring them, because people don't want to follow this religion, in practice. They really nobody want to. The condition is that it's so hard for them not to do that.
Acha
Try to
Manishi,
remove those
can I,
conditions.
Manishi, okay, I got your point, but you answered your question yourself. The day there is an example, when Iran is brought back to a modern era, Afghanistan is back to a modern era, you would have a point to make. But currently, seeing the world as it is, It is simply not possible for Islam to reform. Right? Till that time, the best course of action is to leave Islam. Right? So once we have an example, what you are, speculating, maybe we can discuss of that possibility. But that possibility currently doesn't exist, unfortunately.
But leaving Islam also
Yeah,
is
but
blasphemous.
but I know, Maniji. It's a tough thing, but we can at least make people aware that specifically the women folk who are the most oppressed in a society, how to go about leaving it. Okay, so yeah, true Islam. You want to say something?
Hi, yes, I wanted to say something earlier.
तुमने
या
आंदोलन
राबिया,
भाई
गो अहेड. ट्रू इस्लाम, एक सेकंड रुक जाइए. राबिया जी की बात ले लेते, पहले महिलाओं को बोलने का अवसर दिया जा रहा. राबिया जी, गो अहेड.
Earlier you stated that, it's only in Islam where this sort of oppression occurs, and there was an emphasis on it being only Islam. And I don't think that's necessarily the case, because that is seen throughout other religions, such as like fundamentalist forms of Christianity and Judaism. So that was like the only
True,
point I
Rabia.
really wanted to make.
So true, Rabia, you make a valid point. And when I made that argument, I also stated that we are talking about the modern era. If you see societies evolving across the globe, were there issues with respect to women operation across societies? The answer to that is yes. Are there still women issues with respect to operation in other societies? The answer to that is also
Well,
yes. However, what we have seen in the past, let's say Christian society or Hindu society or Jewish society, they have gone ahead and transformed drastically over
can
a
you,
period of time.
sorry to cut
Drastically.
you off,
Yeah.
but can you define what you mean by modern
The
and what you mean by
contemporary,
evolved?
what you see around the world right now.
Okay, because like there are certain forms, like if you there's like this new Netflix documentary called the fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they're like this is a modern like religious cult of Christianity that exists oppressing women. So I
So
don't
true,
really
Rabia ji. But
follow.
just let me make a point, right? Okay. So pick up a Christian country like US, UK, Netherlands, Germany. When I say Christian countries, their constitution is not Christian, but majority of the people who stay in these countries are Christian. Do you find a widespread problem of women oppression there? The answer to that is no, right? Whereas if you pick up Saudi, Iraq, Iran, Pakistan, Muslim societies in India, do you find a systemic problem of women oppression? The answer to that is yes. While,
Mm.
so you get my point?
Yeah, okay. So it's
We're
like,
talking
so
about systemic. Yeah,
okay, so like systemically it's a regression.
yes.
Got you. Okay.
So, there are
It
societies.
cannot be a regression or progression because in Islam, progression and regression are something that's alien. It's alien words. Islam is perfect, so it can never regress or progress. Islam is what it is.
All right. So let me also suggest one thing. I think this room is running from last almost 2.5, 3 hours. We have discussed issues till marriage, in a Islamic woman's life. We are still to discuss divorce, halala, rights over property, and then the afterlife. If the other mods concur, can we do a part two of this room? Maybe sometime later, because I am
Before you
slightly
go,
exhausted.
I came up because I wanted to say something about beheadings and honor killings of women in Islam who are married to people like this man on my picture. This was an Iranian guy. He chopped off the head of a 70-year-old girl. It was his wife, and she had a 3-year-old daughter. So why did he do that? Well, I am not really sure, but I can just speculate that apparently she was doing adultery. And you can look at the picture. Look how happy he is. In his right hand, he has the sword. He cut the head off.
In his left hand, it's blurred, but it is her head. He's prancing around on the street with her head happy, smiling about it. Now, I just want to ask, have you ever seen a Hindu or Christian or Buddhist smiling, going around with her with his wife's head in his hands, prancing around the street? I have not seen it from other religions other than Islam, other than Muslims, and this is not one case that's out of the ordinary. This happens all the time by many people, that commits to the religion of Islam all over the world. Even in so-called Christian countries and Hindu countries, we see them smiling with beheaded heads in their heads because they did an honor killing and they wanted to save their face because uh, his wife, was apparently a whore and an adulteress, and then it's permissible to kill them and chop off their head and holding them up for everybody to see. So yeah, that's what I want to say. Thank you. And also, yeah, if anybody thinks it's un-Islamic, yeah, just go and look at the Sharia laws. Go look at the manufacture of Islam, of Quran and Hadith.
Thank you. Thank you, Samuel. So, SM and Mini, I'm slightly exhausted for the day. If that's okay, we can continue this conversation as part two
Sure.
sometime tomorrow or day after.
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
Definitely.
It
so,
was a great
let
room,
me also thank.
Andolanji. It was a great room. Very well
No,
done.
we will continue this
You did it.
discussion because we just reached till marriage. We have to discuss equality in divorce. We have to discuss the property rights. How women are in Islam are devoid of the property rights of their parents as well as their husbands, and then of course death and afterlife. What are the kind of promises made to an Islamic woman. So, we'll discuss that in part two. But thanks everyone, all the speaker who are here on the panel and who today contributed to the panel. We are gonna hold a part two of this room. Today I was slightly exhausted, and modding a room is actually exhausting. So we would close this now. The recording of the rooms are available under the club. Please do follow the club, and people who have not been able to hear the full discussion can refer to the discussion. It is in the recorded section of the detailed discussion club. With that, I would, until and unless any of the mods have a last point to make, I'll probably close the room.
Thank you, Andolanji, for keeping this room. I think it was very informative and good that we were able to establish couple of points, and we were able to know there are certain things which are not being practiced. At least on the books, they are trying to deny it. Like FMG is something that they are trying to avoid it. They are trying to ban it. So that's a very good move. But not on the books. It has to be on the ground, and like various other things that we have spoken about. I think it's very informative, and thank you, Rabia, for sharing your story. Also, I think would recommend you to join the next room also whenever we hold it. We would require more people like you to come and share your stories, or give your feedback, or what you have learned from, or what you have realized from this religion, because the thing has to be shared to the panel, and especially to the Muslim women. And I would not say only to the Muslim women, I would say even to the women of the other communities need to realize that in case tomorrow they get converted for whatever reason, either through marriage or through various other things, they should be at least be aware of what is happening, what is going to be the consequences, or where they're heading towards. I mean, that's what my take is. So for me, learning about Islam is basically awareness. And thank you, Andolanji. I think we should look forward for the next room and try covering up other topic also.
Yeah, we'll definitely hold part two of this room. And let me thank all the speakers, specifically the lady speakers today who are there in the room. We chose to give more time to the lady speakers to speak on this forum. Next time also we will hold it in next couple of days. So thanks to all the listeners who have been patiently hearing to this room for almost 2.5 hours plus. Anybody who have missed any part of the discussion, the replays are on. You can go back and listen to the entire discussion. So that's about it. Thanks again, and I'm closing the room in 3, 2,
Thank you all
1.
mods.
Out.
Thank you.
This video was made possible by Creative Contents.